Tokusatsu, taking the form of many shows including Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Metal Heroes. And today, a group of fans come together to review it for you as Toku Secrets.
Hey guys, this is Nathan Desai here. We're coming at you with another episode of the Toku Secrets podcast presented by AnimeSecrets.org. And we got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about, plus a main subject of today's video. But before I get started, because of course I can't do this alone, I'm going to be joined by.
Hey guys, it's Anthony here. I'm kind of sick right now, but hopefully I won't be like noticeable towards that. And I'm also joined by.
Hey guys, Rizwan here, and I'm also kind of sick actually. It's kind of weird given you're up there and I'm down here.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's who the weather change got me sick. So
yeah, but yeah, I'm joined by
me. I'm J Boss. I'm new here.
Yeah,
let's go.
This is our newest member, guys. So yeah, well, for all you guys back at home, please give a big welcome to our newest member. How you doing today?
So claps, y'all. So claps.
Great.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to be able to keep him as a regular guy because, it's 2019. It's a new year. So we're hoping to get into a bit of a rhythm here with this. And I know that we've all talked about this already about at least trying to do this once a month. So hopefully we can keep up with that. I mean, personally, I'm hyped for doing stuff once a month to have more of a regular schedule. So
yeah. But before we get into anything super big, I want to take a quick moment and say happy birthday to my best bro Nathan.
Oh yes, thank you. Yep, I turned 25.
It's like you forgot your birthday yesterday.
Oh, I know. No, I celebrated my birthday today with my mom and my brother. We went to this college football Hall of Fame. We had a fun time. So
that's good.
Cool.
Yeah. But
I had hibachi in your honor.
Say what?
I had hibachi in your honor tonight.
Oh, okay. That's hibachi in my honor. That's a very high honor. Thank you, Riz. Yeah.
Because another staff member of Anime Secrets, Ellie, her birthday's today, so we went to dinner with her tonight.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
How's she doing, by the way?
She good.
Okay, good.
All right, enough tangents. All right, enough tangents. Let's get to the real.
Now to get to the real stuff.
So a couple of major things here as far as Toku goes. This obviously being, the kind of, randomly assorted news section of this video. So obviously, Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger is coming to an end. I'm going to get started on watching that series more soon. I hear that it's really good, but of course, every Sentai must come to an end. So it is going to be replaced by a Sentai called. Wait, what was the first part of the Sentai? Like
Ryu Soldier.
Ryu Soldier.
I knew the Ryu Soldier part.
Okay, one person, please.
Say what?
One person repeat that. Holy crap.
Go ahead. Anthony, you say it.
Kishu Ryu Sentai Ryu Soldier.
Yep. It's been kind of interesting how this was seen because when the title was first released, a lot of people originally thought it was going to be a night-based Sentai, which is what everybody here was really hyped for. But it's another
is. It kind of is in a way, but not the way.
Yeah, they're still.
Okay, they're knights, but
they're still knights.
They don't have dragons.
I heard they actually fight dragons. They
have.
That would be interesting.
And I'm tired of dinosaurs. In fact, I'm going to jump ahead here and say I watched the trailer and I'm not happy because the red dino Zord looks a lot like, if not almost identical, to the last red dino Zord we had in Kyoryuger.
No, and my problem, I'm glad that he mentions Kyoryuger because, Red Ranger, Blue Ranger, Pink Ranger, Green and Black. Where have I seen that color line up before? Oh, yeah.
Kyoryuger was really successful, I gotta say, at least in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, I love Kyoryuger, but And not only that, but I mean, from what I saw with the trailer, like it looks like the red, blue, and pink Rangers are going to start off as their own thing, and like maybe the green and black are going to be loners. Which again, we've seen that. I mean, it was kind of done in Kyoryuger, not for a long time, but you guys having seen Kyoryuger probably know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, I'm open to it because I mean, maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't.
I'm
I
excited.
mean,
The music sounds pretty good. I
I
like
mean,
the I have to wear this wrist. They have wrist morphers now, thankfully.
The wrist movers are great.
oh yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, isn't it? This might be like the first Sentai in a while. Wait,
Yeah, the
hold on.
first Sentai in the wild to have a wrist morpher again.
Yeah,
I think
Kyuger
Kyuger was the last
Yeah,
one.
Kyuger had that. Yeah,
Yeah.
What?
the wrist morphers.
Oh yeah.
I mean, personally,
Well, what did Zia Ranger have? Zia Ranger or whatever, like the Animal Cube Rangers. I forget what they're called.
they had those cube things, like they were kind of cell phones, cube looking things.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
the cubes.
And then the world or Zawaldo had that flashlight looking thing.
He
So
literally had a flashlight. I was like, it works.
yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
worked.
personally, I mean, I can't really hate Dino. Still, kind of fresh. I mean, I've finished a couple of more Sentai since this. I've actually finished watching Decan Ranger, Maji Ranger, and O Ranger since the last time we did a video. But I've seen Aba Ranger, and I love
Aba
Aba
Ranger's
Ranger.
great.
I kind of got a bit of a soft spot for dinosaur Sentais right now.
Like, what's really sad about this new Sentai being dinosaur theme is the fact that we just not even like a couple of years back we just got done with Down Charge for 2 years.
Oh
So
yeah,
so basically the whole like colors and the dinosaurs that all still is fresh on mind because of Down Charge being 2 years long.
Okay,
maybe not so
Oh,
much
for you
for
but
guys.
hang on. I want to throw out my 2 cents on this one for a second.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant because Japan doesn't care what America does. For Japan, it's
No,
been way
I was
longer.
saying that. I was just saying for American audiences that would be. It's no. I mean, Japanese people don't know much about Down Charge. I know that. I'm more or less talking to the American audiences.
Well,
Yeah, no, the American audience. That's kind of why I'm tired of it. But for the Japanese, just like 6 years ago.
I mean, Hasbro could probably skip this Sentai at some point. People have the. I mean, then again, I mean, we don't know what Hasbro is going to be doing. With this series, since now they're backtracking and adapting Busters. It's pretty much anyone's guess on what they're going to.
Anyone could be adapted.
They're also making a what do you call it? A new Power Ranger movie.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the talks.
Yep.
No, like they confirmed it now.
Yeah, and that kind of helps us segue into the other major subject here, which is about beast morphers. There hasn't really been an announcement yet regarding beast morphers. I mean, we know it's coming, but I mean, the fact that we haven't really seen that many updates for it has kind of led to a big talk on YouTube saying that Power Rangers might be dead, which I completely disagree with that, but we can talk about that in a different video. But yeah, I mean,
well, the thing is, from what I understand, they wrapped up season 1 prior to Christmas.
Yeah,
they're shooting season 2 right now.
Yeah, they're filming season 2.
I
follow them on Instagram, so
yeah, same here. I follow Saki, and I think I follow all of them at this point.
Me too.
And
great cast.
Oh, we know you like Saki. Your love for Saki is my love for Ciara.
And Riz loves his Ciara.
Oh my god.
Okay, so, but yeah, I mean, a lot of major world of Tokusatsu, so look forward to us covering that because, like I said, we're going to be trying to do a video once a month. So, and we are going to make the best efforts. Okay, we're not just going to say that we're going to do it and then not do it. Like we're serious this time. So,
yeah.
But so yeah. So now we're going to move on to what we. I mean, you guys got anything else to say, or is it cool if we just move on now?
The toys look great.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can move on now.
Although one other thing, just regarding Beast Mortal 7, this is just a brief thing. I think they said this on Power Rangers Wiki. I think they're saying that the Gold Ranger's name. Like, hold on, I'm looking this up right now because I can't. This just popped into my head, but like something about the Gold Ranger's name. God dang it! Will this page look? Oh yeah, they're saying that the Gold Ranger's name is Nate. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
can finally say that I met.
that's Abraham Rodriguez.
Yeah, but the character's name is Nate. So yeah, I can finally say that a Power Ranger has my name. Do you know how long I've been waiting for that? So
Hey, I'm still waiting for an Anthony. Okay,
yeah, no, but and it's gold too. You know,
right?
so a sixth Ranger. Yeah, that I just
But
think
the problem is, it's not silver. You're
okay,
silver.
yeah, that's right. But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if they're going to be going by Go Busters logic, then they're still going to be some random robot again. So
It most likely will be that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry about that brief interruption. I can't believe that only popped in. So so we're gonna get started with the main topic of this. So I don't know about what I mean. For those of you that watch Power Rangers nowadays, unfortunately, you don't really have the luxury of seeing Power Rangers back during what I personally believe to be its glory days. But way back when when the people who made Power Rangers actually cared about the production, they would do these cool little things where the cast of the current team crossed over with the cast of the previous team for a big team up episode. And some of the episodes were good, some of the episodes were bad, but we can all agree that team up episodes in general are just a tradition that we kind of wish they would bring back already regularly.
Yeah, they're very fun.
So today we're actually going to be taking a look at every episode that Power Rangers has ever done. Now we're not going to do what we normally do, where we give like a full plot overview. We're just going to be given a brief synopsis and then give our general thoughts. Because I mean, I don't know if we explain the plots in detail of every one of these episodes, this video is going to be like maybe 5 hours long. So
No, rather than that, I'll just sleep
yeah.
soon.
20 hours later.
So we're going to start off here with this episode is called A Friend in Need. It crosses over the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with the character from another Saban show, Masked Rider. And this was kind of meant to be a pilot episode for Masked Rider 2 because the show Masked Rider actually started airing shortly after this episode came out. So pretty much, so this was actually kind of like the pilot episode for season 3. And the plot of this episode is that Alpha's home planet of Edenoi, I think it's pronounced. It it comes under attack by this new evil bad guy who's also a rival of Lord Zed, even though he's never been mentioned before.
Never mentioned again.
What?
I never mentioned again.
Yeah, his name is Count Dragon. So he attacks, and Alpha becomes worried about his homeworld being under attack. So all of the Rangers, except Kimberly, who's at home with the flu, go over to Edenoi to try and see what's going on. They encounter the forces of the leaders of the planet, King's Lexian, I think his name was, and his son Prince Dex. And at first they're fighting against each other, but they soon team up with Prince Dex having the power to morph into the Masked Rider, and they fight off Count Dragon's forces. But then they have to go back to Earth to help Kimberly fight off this monster that Rita and Zed are attacking. And then Masked Rider follows them to Earth when Count Dragon attacks Earth. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So right off the bat, I'm just going to say this. Out of all the team up episodes here, I never actually saw this one for a while. Like I watched it in preparation for this review. That's the first time I ever saw it. Like Like, I didn't even know that this episode existed, honestly. And honestly, I'm glad that I never saw it because this episode is just like, I don't know, like it doesn't.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it just
So-
feels kind of useless to me, like almost as if like Saban's just putting it in there to be like, hey, kid, I'm coming out with this new show, in a couple of weeks, so check it out.
Ghost Rider.
But see, okay, so no offense to y'all, but I actually was watching Rangers when this was going on, and it worked really well for that. Because 5-year-old Rizwan was like, ooh, Masked Rider. I'm gonna go watch that now because I see it on the commercial. And that looks really cool. And they're friends of the Power Rangers, and I love Power Rangers. So it got to point across, like them doing that was a good marketing ploy.
hmm Yeah, I'll give him credit for that. Something that we probably should talk about, like briefly though, is whether or not this episode is actually in canon with the series, because there are several conflicting points. Like on one hand, um, the Masked Rider first episode completely retcons this, and something completely different happens in the first episode. And they never mentioned Power Rangers again. I mean, I hear that there was like a Masked Rider comic where the Power Rangers appear, but that was
Yeah,
it.
there is.
Um,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, during the Alien Ranger saga, Rocky briefly mentions how they went to Edenoi to help, which means that
Yeah.
it could be canon. But then on the other hand, and this is probably the most bizarre one, there's an episode of Time Force, and it's a pretty big episode. It's the episode where Eric becomes the Quantum Ranger, where Nadira is watching a TV show, and it's a clip from The Masked Rider, as if to imply that The Masked Rider is a TV show in Power Rangers. So it just kind of creates this big, part of my language here, clusterfuck in the Power Rangers universe. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Lots of things in the universe are clusterfucks.
Yeah.
So I
My
think it makes
God.
sense, actually, because Rocky said he went and helped Edenoi in whatever episode you're talking about. But then
No.
on top of that,
Wait, what were you saying?
what I was saying, I think it makes a little bit of sense. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, whether or not this
because they said Rocky mentioned Eno in one episode. He can't remember which one though.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. I remember specifically. It's in the two-part episode that begins the Alien, where the Rangers are contemplating over whether or not they
Okay.
call the Alien Rangers for help, and then Rocky says, "Well, hey, Edenoi needed our help, and we were there, so
Yeah.
yeah." So, but yeah, not really. The I don't know. I'm not a fan of the Masked Rider series, and I
It's
don't.
garbage.
I haven't met anyone who is. So, yeah, I just don't really have much of a attachment to this episode. But I'm
Yeah.
sure it has its fans. So,
I'm not a fan of the episode by any means, but I also understand what they're going for, and I thought it was a well-deserved plot point at the very least.
Yeah.
To like at least say like, hey, look, there's a bigger world we live in,
yeah,
and to the point of the Time Force episode you're talking about with Nadira,
yeah,
it's possible in the Ranger world that Masked Rider was a hero, like how the Rangers met him,
Mhm.
and I don't know, maybe somebody talked about it. They mentioned Masked Rider as a hero, and somebody was like, "Oh, I'll make a TV set of that in the future, like
Mhm.
hundreds of years later."
Oh, okay, maybe that's possible.
I mean, I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying,
She
like,
could
look,
be watching a rerun, like a rerun of
yeah,
of the show that was like maybe popular in the year 3000 for some reason.
yeah.
I guess they like the whole.
The only thing I remember about Masked Rider is that plays his adoptive mom is like she's she's something. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
The whole
still
thing.
pretty.
You mean how she was underage, and like the dude that was playing the actor like felt is really creepy because the dude was like.
Oh yeah, I remember we looked that up. That's so ridiculous.
Wait,
So
what?
like the actress was the actress that plays the mom on the Masked Rider show. She was 17 when she did that role as the mom of the show.
Wow.
Well,
Damn.
I mean, in Shinkenger, some 21-year-old man's as her son. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's Shikingers though. That's
I know,
Japan.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. Dude,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Japan's
It's just
Japan's
screwed up.
different from how we do things.
Yeah.
But I would never thought they would like hire like a young woman to play some old guy's like,
Because
husband. I mean, I was like wife, you know.
because they need eye candy, dude. I mean,
I barely know
Yeah,
she was
man.
in the show.
yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. Point is, this episode. I mean, it may have been cool at the time, but it hasn't really well. Not to mention the footage that they're using from Kamen Rider Black RX. I mean, that doesn't blend well considering how that footage was like from the '80s. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that really doesn't work.
Also, Black RX sucks.
Yeah.
Whoa. I kind of want to like Black Alright. I'm gonna check it out.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a discussion for
I
another
like
time.
Black, but not RX. RX is like a worse version of Black.
You are
To me, at least.
crazy. You are
Okay.
crazy.
So next up, we're going to be moving on to the pretty much a more traditional team up episode, which is interesting because this is what we could call the very first team up episode for Power Rangers, and it actually took footage from the Sentai movie, which technically wasn't the first Sentai crossover movie, but it was the first one that kind of triggered the chain of like every season after it releasing a crossover movie from this point forward. So it was kind of the first in a way. But this team up episode is called Rangers. It teams up the Zeo Rangers with the Alien Rangers, and even though it's really a team up episode, it's also kind of a Billy episode. What happens is that the age restoration device that Billy used in the Alien Ranger saga has a delayed side effect, which has caused him to age rapidly. The Zeo Rangers call the Alien Rangers, well, actually just Delphine and Sestro, who are the only ones that appear in this one unmorphed.
And the only ones that matter besides Orko.
Yeah.
He's red.
I mean, like Orico is in it, but he only appears in like stock footage for like 2 seconds. But yeah, so they try to help Billy. They're trying to help Billy restore his age, but at the same time, the Machine Empire attacks the city with one of their monsters, and then Rita and Zed, who are all of a sudden back in power, create their own monster. And those two monsters still control Rangers' Megazords. So, yeah, hijinks ensue, and the Alien Rangers have to help. So, yeah, I'm gonna. I actually really like this episode. I think. I mean, obviously, you could have done a little bit better with writing Billy off the show. I mean, I understand that they had to do it no longer on the show, but you probably could have given him a slightly better send off because, I mean, keep in mind, I mean, Billy leaving the show, like, this is Billy we're talking about. I mean, this is a guy who's been on the show a regular since the first episode, Day of the Dumpster, and he's finally leaving the show after 4 seasons. Like he was on there all throughout Mighty Morphin, and he was still a regular character in Zeo. So
yeah.
He's the longest running Ranger character besides Bulk and Skull.
Yeah.
And he never once like traded his powers for anybody. He never gave his power to somebody else, but he still kept his own powers. He just kept getting, different sets of powers, but he did have his own powers, like on Mighty Morphin onward,
Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, so yeah, I mean, so yeah, like with this episode, the last of the original, but we kind of knew even when he came back as the Gold Ranger, he was going to be gone.
He kind of broke out there, Nate.
Do what?
He kind of broke out.
He kind of broke out there at the last bit.
Well, what I was going to say was that, yeah, we had Jason there, but let's be honest, we all kind of knew that he was going to be gone by the end of the series. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's still pretty cool how we get to see the two teams fight together. I mean, because keep in mind we had never seen this.
I don't really like the episode.
Oh, okay, but what issues do you have with it, man?
I don't know. It just feels like forced because in this team up they used some footage from Old Ranger versus Kaku Ranger, and that team up is trash. So like I don't know. This feels a little forced in how they relied on that movie footage.
Yeah, I still need to see that crossover movie. I mean, only scene I've seen is O Pink. Is this scene where O Pink and O Yellow are in bikinis and they're throwing a beach ball around? Which, yeah, I mean, I can't complain about that scene, can I? But
I need to see that footage.
O Ranger itself is okay.
Oh, I'm not a fan of O Ranger. I really don't like it, but that's a topic.
There's a lot of issues.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good episode. Could have given Billy a better. I mean, I'll agree that I think it seemed a little forced, a little, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I still have a soft spot for this episode because I mean, I remember when I first watched it and I thought it was pretty cool. So I'll admit that it probably isn't the best, but I mean, I still have a soft spot for it. So okay, so the season after this was Turbo, but Turbo didn't have an episode, which means that we're going to jump into Power Rangers in Space, which had not one, not two, but 3 team-up episodes. Now, the first one, and everybody here knows that we love Power Rangers in Space, but this is not a really good episode for this show.
Yeah, Shell Shock.
So this episode is called Shell Shocked. As you can see from the photo.
Wait, you're considering this a crossover?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
I'm going by team up after team up with like more.
He did say crossover / team ups, and that does count as team up.
Yeah. All right.
So, as you can see from the photo that we're going to be using, this is a team up episode between the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles.
You would think that this would be a really cool idea, right? But
yeah, because
it was so bad, and
they got away with this because just kind of a brief thing here. At the time when Power Rangers in Space was airing, Saban was doing a live action Ninja Turtles series called Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Super bad.
And you'll probably see this from the photo too. But one of the big infamous things about this was that they had the 4 Ninja Turtles. You know, they had Leo, Raph, Don, and Mikey. But then they also had a 5th female Ninja Turtle named Venus de Milo.
She came out of the fucking nowhere.
Yeah. In case you're wondering, she's behind Carlos in this photo that we're going to be using.
She's the one in the light blue.
Yeah.
And
but kind of do this. So basically, so this episode it kind of starts off briefly in the second episode of Power Rangers Space Save Our Ship, where in the final scene, the Ninja Turtles are brought to Angel Grove, and then it kicks off in Shell Shocked, where Astronema comes. She turns she brainwashes the Ninja Turtles to be, her slaves, and then she attacks the world with this monster. Which, for the record, that monster was actually an O Ranger monster in the Sentai. So all that footage is original footage. I don't think there's any Sentai footage used in this episode, by the way.
But I think they remade him a little bit different. I have seen the monster before too, but I think it's just it's like a combination of different suits.
Yeah, they did. So yeah, that monster is overpowering the Rangers. The Ninja Turtles, they save the Rangers. Then they infiltrate the Astro Mega ship and completely take it over. They capture all the Rangers except Andros, who suspected them right from the start. Then when they fly through a nebula, the Ninja Turtles, they scare off Astronema's forces, and the 2 enemy forces combine for the two teams, the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers. They team up. They fight off the Quatrons. The Ninja Turtles go for a ride on the Galaxy Gliders because we got to finish this episode off on a silly note. And yeah, nothing of any real
Yeah,
stuff.
nothing of real use, really.
Nothing.
Like,
It was worthless.
yeah, the
No,
team itself, it's so like, I don't know what's the word I can use for this. Stupid.
Okay, I will
and-
actually. I will actually give. I actually. There's one thing about that team up I did like was the fact that one of the Ninja Turtles actually kicked Elgar in a hilarious way, and I will never forget that
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, I did like that part. I'll give it that.
No, but no. The funny thing is though, and this is an interesting view on the episode because I'm actually to kind of keep track of which one we're on. I'm using Morphin Legacy's page, Clash of the Crossovers. This guy gives like a review, and he says that one of the problems with this episode is that it makes Astronema not really look like a credible villain because think about it. This is the third episode of the series, which means that this is like her second plan to destroy the Rangers. Like, really, like, one of your ideas is to turn the Ninja Turtles against the Power Rangers? I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's just silly. I mean, now thankfully it does actually mention, like, it actually says in this review, like, it's a good thing that her, plan to destroy the Power Rangers with an evil team later in the series worked out, and we know what she's talking about there. So,
Yeah.
psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and
But one problem
that
I had
episode
here
was just
though.
like a one-off. So
Do what?
that episode was like a one-off. So didn't really mess up with how
Yeah.
great a character arc she did have.
Yeah.
And one of the problems though here though, and this is someone I really don't like because I like all of the Space Ranger characters, and this is another thing that's mentioned. Doesn't this kind of make everyone except Andros look like morons because they so readily trust the Ninja Turtles and are just giving
At
away?
first, yeah, because they're coming off Turbo. They're still learning how Andros works. Yeah.
Yeah, just nonchalantly explaining how the megaship works. Doesn't that kind of make them look stupid?
Well, okay, you gotta understand. They come from Zordon, where they've worked with other kids in the past, right? Like, they work with the Alien Rangers, they've worked with Master Rider. I mean, they've had
Not
allies,
these Rangers though.
Yeah, not these Rangers.
but they've had they've had legacy passed on. Like, I'm sure in the transition of
You
the
mean Tommy,
passing of the torch, yeah, Tommy might have told TJ like, "Hey, this is where you come from."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't imagine Tommy not doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe he was like, "Hey, here's this. Bye."
Maybe he gave like a first cut of his DVD explaining the history of the Rangers that he used in Dino Thunder later on.
Mm-hmm.
He was a better character than Dino Thunder.
Yeah, but that's a whole different topic altogether.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is that this episode, just like the show that it's crossing over with, is bad. Linkara points out how all of the female Ninja Turtles, I mean, not female, male Ninja Turtles, sound exactly the same. Like, hey, yo, Johnny, what you do? I didn't do anything. What do you think? What did you do, Raph? Like,
they all have distinct personalities that, and it just didn't make sense why they all act the same way. Because you have Leo, who's the leader. He's very stern. He's very calm, and he's like the centered one. Then you have Donnie, the smart guy. He's the one that causes all the tech. He's intelligent. He can make anything just by the top of his head. Then you have Mikey, the goofball.
Mikey's the goofball, and Raph is the
aggressive one. He's the aggressive one.
Aggressive loner. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the aggressive one. Always back talks the leader, which is Leo. So they butt heads at times. They didn't get that right, and that what's really irritating about the special is they did not get the personalities of the characters correctly, and it really irritated me.
Yeah.
It's not a good episode. I'm sorry. I mean, I love you, Power Rangers in Space. This episode is proof that even the best Power Ranger seasons give out pretty bad episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly true.
Yeah.
And some really bad episodes, Power Rangers give really good episodes.
Yeah. And I'm glad Anthony said that because now we can.
Except if you're Ninja Steel and you only have like one or two.
Exactly. That's what I'm referring to.
But I'm glad Anthony said, we get good episodes because now we're going to move on to an actually good team up episode. It's kind of iffy to call this a team up, but I mean, it has one Power Ranger from the previous team crossing over, so it counts. This episode is called True Blue to the Rescue.
Brings back Justin.
Yep. So in this episode, those two living cars that the Turbo Rangers used in the last episode in
Lightning Cruiser and something Blaster.
Yeah, Blasters.
Storm
Blaster.
Blaster. Yeah, Storm Blaster.
Yeah, one of them. One of them.
Red Lightning or something.
Lightning Cruiser.
Yeah, Lightning Cruiser. Yeah, one of them escapes from Divatox's forces because they're apparently used by Divatox's Piranatrons on some desert planet. It finds Justin, and it finds Justin, who's now living. I guess he's living out of town of Angel Grove with his dad now. I think they said he was going to move at the end of the Turbo series.
Yeah, he did.
And at the same time, Astronomos forces start looking for Storm Blaster after Divatox tells her that she lost it, and the Space Rangers try to stop her from getting Storm Blaster, but then they end up getting captured by Astronomos' latest monster. But luckily, Storm Blaster finds the Rangers. He takes Justin to where they are. He's able to the car is able to recharge Justin's morpher, which is able to help him morph. He saves the Rangers. Then they all team to go and save Lightning Cruiser, and then we get a pretty heartfelt reunion between Justin and the 4 former Turbo Rangers, and then he goes home. Now, I'm just going to say this. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Justin, I really like this episode because the thing is, you can say what you will about Justin, but he was still friends with the Turbo Rangers, and to just leave him hanging there. Because keep in mind, they did this episode thinking that Power Rangers was going to be Power Rangers pretty much already was canceled when this episode came out. So they wanted to tie up every loose end that they could, and this was an episode where they did that. So like I said, you can say what you will about Justin. I got my fair share of things to say about him, but it's still
okay.
It still seems right.
He served his purpose here. I actually didn't mind him in this episode.
And I actually did like that. I actually did like that one episode where he got random super strength.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Funny thing, they show a flashback of that episode in this episode. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, he was friends with Rangers, so it's best to just see them reunite briefly, just to know that Justin knows they're okay and they know he's okay. Because I think it would have been a dick move to just kind of leave Justin there with no acknowledgement or closure, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Even if I know that several Ranger actors could not appear in the last final episode of In Space, but I'm glad that he did appear in this episode.
Mm-hmm. The only problem, and this is really just a nitpick, what happens to Lightning Cruiser after this episode? Because they free Lightning Cruiser, and it's there sitting with the Space Rangers when Justin vanishes. I mean, you can argue Blaster stayed with Justin. I mean, okay, cool, fair enough. But what happens to Lightning Cruiser?
He magically disappears.
Maybe he goes to aid the Rangers from other planets. Maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he was helping the Alien Rangers fight Divatox and Destruction and got captured again.
Yeah, you never know.
Cool. One other thing, this episode is also kind of important when we talk about Forever Red, because a lot of people are wondering, how does TJ have his turbo powers back? And I've been thinking, well, if Storm Blaster can do that for Justin, then maybe Lightning Cruiser could do the same thing for TJ.
Exactly.
So yeah, this episode was actually kind of important when you think about that.
Also, for me, this team up kind of solidifies how good the team ups can be.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have to be so flashy and be all and it makes sense how they did the team ups. It's not like how they did it in future team ups. We'll get there. We'll get to that point for Neil Spawn era team ups. But yes.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything to say, Riz?
I really enjoyed True Blue to the Rescue for a lot of reasons. You mentioned that this is a good loose end to tie up by
Yep.
saying, "Hey, cool, look, this is where Justin went after they abandoned him at the space station."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was a really good like closing to say like, look, Justin's still around, he's still a ranger, and maybe he's on his own adventures to this day as a Blue Turbo Ranger. We don't know.
Yep. Okay, so we got one last team up episode from Power Rangers Space, and another really good opinion. This episode is called
Next one's one of the best ones.
Do what?
Next one's one of the best ones.
Yeah. This one is called Always a Chance. This is
a really good episode.
Do what?
A really good episode.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Really good
This
ones.
episode takes place a little later because I'm pretty sure, like, as we said, Shell Shock takes place like literally like it's the third episode of the series. I know True Blue to the Rescue was like literally right before Zane debuts as the Silver Ranger. I think Zane was a character in the series by this point when Always a Chance came out, and I might be wrong on that. But...
He is.
Oh, okay.
But he went missing for some reason.
Yeah. No. He was on KO35, Help Ranger.
That's right. Yeah, I remember. I thought it was times when he just was there, but he wasn't.
Yeah. So, so the plot of this episode is that the Rangers are fighting a lizard monster. I think his name is Liz Wizard. And while the Rangers are fighting against him, Carlos accidentally injures Cassie. Like he hurts her really bad and breaks her arm, which causes Carlos to start second guessing himself. And during one time when he's fighting the monster, Adam, his predecessor, comes out to help him. And after they scare off the monster, Adam tries to help Carlos regain confidence through training.
Before you continue, I mean, I have to say this. Matt, mind you, Adam has been, not been a Ranger for almost maybe a year or 2 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And he managed to actually fight the monster and actually managed to have a retreat without morphing at all. That's impressive.
Yep. But
he still got it.
Yep. But despite Adam's training, Carlo still continues to screw up because he's constantly second guessing himself. So he decides he's going to quit. So he goes to the Astro Megaship and gives up his communicator. But then Astronomus forces attack, and with Carlos completely defenseless, Adam takes out his destroyed Mastodon Power Morpher, which is something we'll talk about in a second. And he uses it to morph to don his Black Mighty Morphin Power Ranger suit again.
Pretty dope. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Pretty dope moment.
Defend Carlos until the other Rangers come and Carlos regains his confidence. I'm just gonna say this right now. This episode is one of the best episodes of Power Rangers in space. And not just because Adam comes back and it's great to see them bring back an older Mighty Morphin suit again. It gives character development for Carlos because keep in mind when Carlos was in Turbo, he was like this arrogant jerk who was kind of a little full of himself and a little, immature. This episode shows him showing concern for how his actions affect his teammates. And it's cool how they bring in Adam.
That's one of the reasons I really like this episode.
Yeah.
It's really good for Carlos's character arc.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Now there are, a couple of minor nitpicks here. Like Adam just kind of comes right out of nowhere in the middle of the battle, which is odd, and I don't mind that. But and there's also the question of like, why does he risk his life using
the morpher,
the broken morpher when he can just use his ZO4 powers?
Well, see, that's the issue with Turbo as in itself because after Zeo ended, it just kind of just went straight to Turbo without any explanation after the Zeo powers. I kind of want to give like a fan theory that like maybe they use the Turbo, maybe they Zeo powers to create the Turbo powers and maybe just reinforce them in something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like we forging them basically.
Yep.
Even though like that really isn't the case, but whatever. I want to give it a really just no saving it. They really know what they were doing at the times.
But
Yeah.
now it is interesting how Adam uses the Mastodon powers because
Yeah,
this actually brings up a interesting topic because keep in mind the original Dino coins weren't destroyed; they were just kind of rendered useless when the Thunderzords were destroyed.
Yeah, they were damaged.
Mm-hmm. So this does kind of bring up a interesting subject when we get to a team up episode a little later. But yeah, I mean it's cool to see Adam again. It's cool It's cool to see a Mighty Morphin suit back in action after a while.
Yeah, also it's really good for how Adam came back, and you could tell that he was excited to come back. And the more he came, the more you see he has respect for the franchise.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
okay, so it's not. I think it's more respect for Levi Suk and Saban really more than anything else because I've met Johnny Young Boss in person
so have I.
I met him
times,
too, but I didn't get a chance to get his autograph.
Lucky.
and I talked to him for a good bit.
I never did. No, I never did.
And he had mentioned to me like, yeah, I came back for the team ups because of my respect and
Ooh, okay. I didn't know.
admiration of the guys in charge at the time. He had a certain friendship with some of the guys that are running it.
Yeah. And did you guys know at the time that like when he became the new Black Ranger, some fans weren't really happy with the fact that he was replacing Zack. And I think he said it in one interview I saw online, and he was just replacing Zack, blah blah blah. And he was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. He's like, he just kind of had difficulty, as in the fact that he did replace somebody that was more, or he became more like himself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've seen Adam in like several different series. Like with Zach, like after he left for that peace conference, we've never seen Zach again.
He
So
pieced out so hard.
I mean, his actors come back on occasions. He and Austin St. John did like this Lost episode in Lost Galaxy. Plus, he was actually the voice of a villain in a team up episode that we're going to be getting to a little later. But
Yeah.
we haven't seen Zach. So, but yeah, like I mean, I honestly like really love it. So like this is one of my favorite episodes to watch from Power Rangers in Space. So
Yeah, it's a real good one.
yeah. Plus, just a brief thing to say, it's pretty cool how they use like unused like when it shows like Adam actually calling out Master morphs instead of just using recycled footage of him calling out from Mighty Morphin, they actually show him like doing the hand morphs with the hand movements with the power morpher, which I hear was
that's real cool.
yeah, which I hear was something that they was footage that they wanted to use at some point, but they decided to go with the other ones. But regardless, yeah, I'm glad they used that footage.
Yeah, it made this morph more different and unique. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So next up, we move on to Power Rangers. Start a chain of team up episodes all the way until Power Rangers S. So that's 6 years, I think, because this came out in 1999.
Just a clarification, real quick, because your mic went out.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 to 10th Power and Lost Galaxy and Power Rangers in Space.
Well, I didn't actually say the title of the episode yet, but yeah.
But you cut out for like a good 7 seconds there.
Yeah, because we couldn't hear anything you said.
Okay, sorry about that.
I'm assuming that's what you said, but if not, well,
okay.
Spoilers.
No, but like I was saying, this is the team up episode that started a 5 or 6 year chain of team up episodes because, like, starting with this one. Wait, no.
This is what team ups is awesome.
Ninja Storm didn't have a team up episode. Sorry about that, but yeah, but yeah. So this is to the 10th Power. It which teams up the Space Rangers with the Galaxy Rangers. So the plot of this episode is that the key cards that the Psycho Rangers in space are recovered by this alien monster who sells them to Deviant. Well, sort of. You'll have to watch the episode to understand that. To Deviant on this desert planet. Deviant, he's a Lost Galaxy villain, by the way. He uses it to revive the Psycho Rangers and
Lost Galaxy, my favorite season.
Yeah, and they so all the Galaxy Rangers except Leo and Mike, even though you can't count Mike because he's the Magna Defender. But okay, they capture Kai, Kendricks, Damon, and Maya. And Psycho Red attempts to capture Leo, but he gets saved by Andros, who was tracking the Psycho Rangers, and eventually, they come up with a plan to free the Galaxy Rangers, and then the other Space Rangers show up to help them. They fight off the Psycho Rangers and supposedly destroy them, but then Psycho Pink survives, which then leads us into another episode which is kind of a continuation of this team-up episode that ends with Kendricks dying, and then in the next episode, Corone becomes the Pink Ranger. Yeah, nothing really important happens.
Okay, so let's break that sentence down for a second. This is the first Ranger death where a Ranger dies on camera.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was amazing. So many feelings.
The first to die in a team up too, mind you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the first Ranger to ever die. That implies it's also the first ever.
Yeah. So it apparently the actress who was playing Kendra, I met by sweetheart.
You met Kendra?
What?
You've met Kendra?
No, Kendricks.
Yeah.
She had leukemia, her actor.
Yeah, she had leukemia around this time, and they had to write her out of the series. In fact, there were several episodes of Lost Galaxy that came out prior to where Kendricks either didn't appear unmorphed where Kendricks was either only shown unmorphed for one or two episodes, for one or two scenes where it was probably recycled footage, or she just didn't appear unmorphed at all, and it was just a voice actress because she was that sick.
Yeah.
They had to write her off of the series. And originally they wanted to have Patricia Jolie, who played Cassie, the Pink Space Ranger, to replace her, but her contract with Saban and the negotiations fell through, so they had to bring back Corone instead, which I think was a good measure. But
actually, it was about money too. She was paid a lot.
Though we all love Corone.
Yeah.
Anthony's met Corone.
I have, yes.
I haven't, but
lucky.
Yeah. But to kind of go back to this, this episode, this is a really enjoyable episode.
I love this episode.
To give closure to the Psycho Ranger saga, to show that they really destroyed for real now.
Yep.
The final battle is pretty cool. It does suck how Zane's not in this episode, so it kind of feels balanced because you got all 6 Galaxy Rangers, but only 5 Space Rangers. But that was also how I think it was in the Sentai team of episode 2, where
a
Man in Black Knight, but there was no Mega Silver.
Mega Ranger.
So, yeah. So I could cut some slack there, but. Yeah, and one other thing, and this is something that I wish they would do in more team-up episodes, is that in The Power of Pink, when Psycho Pink goes to her monster form, we actually get original footage of the Galaxy Megazord and the Astro Megazord fighting together, and it's original footage, and that's the only time I know where they did original footage of both the previous team and the current team's Megazords fighting together, I wish they would do that more often. Probably not, because it would probably cause the thing to go over budget. But I'm glad that they did it at least once. Yeah, you guys got anything to say?
I love this team up.
Yeah.
Like everything that builds up to Leo and Andrew's meeting, to the Psychos taking down the Lost Galaxy Rangers one by one. It's perfect. It's awesome. And then the final battle, the final fight, so great.
So
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite team up ever.
Really?
This and one other.
Yeah, we'll begin to that one later, and I'm really excited to. But
Yeah, that
But it's
one.
like my top 3, I would say.
yeah, I'd say this is probably my second favorite one. I mean,
Yeah.
like, only
This
question
one.
I have is like, how did Andros get on Terra Venture? And some people could say like, well, they used the Mega Shuttle maybe, but he arrived on Terra Venture at a time later than the other space. So if he used the Mega Shuttle, then how did they get to Terra Venture? And if they used the Mega Shuttle, how did he get to Terra Venture? So
Galaxy Glider.
So okay.
Galaxy Glider.
So hang
how
on,
could,
hang on.
how could he use his Galaxy Glider though if he didn't have his morph?
Oh.
He doesn't need it to use the Galaxy Glider.
Does he?
Hank.
I don't think so.
Well,
But
But it was still a great team up.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoyed
Here's
it.
my
It's a great
theory.
team.
Here's my
Like,
theory.
I mean, Linkara absolutely loved this episode. First saw it, and I mean, like, I remember when I first saw this episode because I didn't know that team ups were a regular thing when I first saw this episode. Because I first saw this episode, it was on this that combined like multiple seasons. It had like White Light, um, Countdown to Destruction, this episode, and then 2 more later. I didn't know team ups were a regular thing. So when I first saw this, that it's like, and I'm like, this, like 10-year-old kid who absolutely loves Power Rangers. Like, this is like a wet dream for me, basically. So,
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
did you know, Legendary Battle is coming.
That one DVD introduced me to team ups.
But
I
back
got
to the
that.
original
Yeah.
question you were asking, how did Andros and Emil get there? So I think the 4 Rangers used a Mega Shuttle, and Andros harvested Zordon's energy when he destroyed the thing, and that gives him weird powers now.
mm-hmm.
Because you don't just destroy Zordon, be exposed to the Z-Wave at like that close range, and not
Mhm.
just have weirdness happen to you later in life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably possible. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if that's really the only problem, you speak for how great it is. I mean, yeah.
Not much. Yeah.
So next up, unfortunately, to the 10th power, not so great team up episode.
We
This
have
is
got to fix your mic.
the what?
We have got to fix your mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
You keep breaking out so many times.
Can you guys
Anyway,
hear me now?
yeah.
Okay. So this is Trakeena's Revenge. A team Lightspeed
He's on
Ranger
again.
with the Galaxy Rangers. What?
And you cut out again.
Okay, you guys explain real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay,
So this is Trakena's Revenge, which is the Lightspeed Rescue and Lost Galaxy team up.
Yeah.
Can you guys
What?
hear me good now?
Yeah.
I can
Keep
hear.
talking. Let's see.
Keep talking.
Okay. So this is Lost Galaxy and Lightspeed Rescue. In this episode, it's revealed that Trakeena survived her final battle with the Galaxy Rangers, and she's come to Earth. She's wearing a mask over her face because she's scarred, even though it's really just to hide the fact that her original actress isn't here.
Basically.
She comes to Earth to destroy it so that she can get revenge on the Galaxy Rangers. She teams up with this villain called Triskull, who I'm guessing was released by Olympius and the Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Triskull is luring people into this building and draining their life energy so that Trakeena can absorb it to transform back to her green mutated form. and what happens is that this little girl, who is the daughter of one of the abducted people, catches them in the act and tries to inform the Rangers, and of course she has to help the Rangers, stop, get into the building so that they can stop Trakeena. And one of the problems that you may have already recognized in this episode is that, like, I said something about that little girl, Heather. Yeah, here's the problem with this episode. This is not a team up episode.
Yeah.
This team up episode is essentially the misadventures of Carter Grayson and a little girl featuring the Galaxy Rangers.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, fun fact: this was actually the first team up I saw as a kid.
I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I have a little bit.
No. It was the same team up that I saw. First team up that I saw as a kid too. Because an interesting thing about this episode was that it was released as a 3D VHS release. It was originally released at McDonald's, but then eventually got released in Toys R Us, and it was released quite some time before it originally aired. Like, from what I read, Ryan hadn't even debuted as the Titanium Ranger when the VHS was released. And you know that this is a post Ryan episode because you see the Max Solar Zord in this team up episode, and Olympius is the main villain while Diabolico is nowhere to be seen. So yeah, it came out pretty early.
That's probably to make sure they can get all the Rangers still on contract.
Say what?
It's probably for contractual reasons because they probably only had the Space Rangers. I mean, not Space.
Galaxy
Rangers for so long before they had to be released to other projects.
Yeah, and I do know that that like some of the Galaxy Rangers weren't too happy. Well, some of the Galaxy cast weren't too happy about them being upstaged by a girl, because you may have recalled that I mentioned that Trakeena's actress wasn't here to be in the episode. Her name was Amy Miller, by the way.
And now she's go by Amy Cole because she's married to Lost Galaxy actor Rizwan.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was originally supposed to appear in this episode, and she was in costume and she was all suited up and she was ready to be in the episode. But then she found out that they were going to be upstaged by a little girl, and she walked off the set and refused to appear. Yeah, and same thing with Danny Slavin, who played Leo. Like, he got really pissed off, so he only filmed like a couple of scenes before he walked off, and it shows because Leo's voice does not sound anything like him.
Yeah, go Galactic! Yeah,
go Galactic!
Yeah.
It sounds more like Mike, honestly. More like Mike.
It might have been Mike. That'd be shocking if it was Mike.
I like that team up roll call though at the end when they're all doing the roll call. I like it.
Wait, come back! No.
Yeah, this team up has a bunch of flaws.
And there's just one oddity that I still don't understand. During the morphing sequence, we never see the Galaxy Rangers' morphing sequence. They basically take the Ginga Man.
Yeah, they take the Ginga Man one. Also, this has which takes from Ginga Man versus Go-Go 5. Yeah.
And this is another team up episode that, by and large, used the plot from the Sentai episode. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I may have loved this episode when I was a kid because I didn't know that team up episodes were a regular thing. But looking back at it now, it has not aged well. Like,
it's okay to me.
No, it's pretty bad.
Because like I said, I mean, you don't show the Lost Galaxy morphing sequence. The final battle doesn't really feel all that great because what I've noticed is that in almost like every other
where she turns into this random ass demon, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. You have one thing I've noticed from every other team up episode is that usually you have both the Rangers with the matching color, facing some individual villain, like how in the previous team up episode, all Rangers with the matching colors faced off their corresponding Psycho Ranger, and then in the next couple of team up episodes, like you would have like certain Ranger groups, like they would team up to fight this monster or that monster. Here they're just fighting. It's just all the 10 Rangers just randomly fighting battlings, and they do show Viper and Loki fighting a little bit, but not that much. So it just doesn't really feel like a good.
Yeah, and you rarely see like Olympius fighting freaking Damon for a while. He's getting his ass kicked. And
Yeah.
I think Chad fought him too.
Yeah. It was Chad and Damon that went after him.
It was just so weird. It was just random. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah, and wait, why is it the Green and Blue Ranger? Shouldn't it be Kai and Chad or Damon?
Even in the Sentai, it didn't mesh well. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You know what another thing I have a problem with? Damon and Kendrick showing at the end. I'm like, where the hell did they come from?
Yeah, this is what.
And they have no idea what's going on. All they know is, Trakeena's back. Like they didn't even know that. Leo didn't even give him a note saying, "Okay, Trakeena's alive. I followed her. Come to Earth, please. Help." Something.
And if you want to know how underwhelming this episode is, like there's a scene where all of the Rangers, well, not all of them, because Kendricks and Damon haven't appeared yet, but they're at the Aqua Base. These Rangers are here. You would think that Miss Fairweather and Captain Mitchell would be here, trying to help the Rangers figure something out. Because, I don't know. They're only the people that have been helping the Rangers out this entire series. Are they anywhere to be seen in this episode? Nope. And all these people in the Aqua Base, they're just going about their business as if there's nothing important about these.
Oh, and another thing, they didn't stop the Rangers to bring that little girl to danger, even though full well she should not be out there in the battlefield with them.
Yeah.
That was
what?
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, can I join you guys in the battle? No.
Stay here. No, stay here. They did it for every other kid, so why is she special? Because she's
a junior ranger.
that was the one time, and mind you, I can't believe I'm saying this. This was the one time Carter really irritated me this episode, and I love Carter. I love him. I met him. He is my most favorite Red Ranger of all time.
Yeah. I was there with him when he met Carter. It was a very heartwarming moment, dude.
It was very emotional.
West, that was great.
Carter's alright.
Yeah. But
it was something with my grandma. Like she had passed away, and I couldn't make it to Power Wolfcon. So Nathan did a video for me featuring him, and he gave a shout out, and I really appreciated it.
And then we walk up to him, and then he recognizes my face and remembers the interview I did with him, and he remembers specifically the issue with Anthony's grandma. So,
like that just made my day. Like,
yeah. I'm just psyched that he remembered my face after 2 years, but
like that's one memory I will never forget.
Yeah, that was amazing. But yeah, as amazing as Carter is, he's not enough to save this episode.
No, he's not.
And just a brief nitpick here too. They did film their fair share of original footage for this episode. Why didn't you bring back Ryan and Mike for this episode? Because even the final battle with Trakeena would have let you get away with that. Because think about it. The Max Solar Zord fights in that battle, even though it really shouldn't because it's powered by solar energy, but it's battling at night. And
also another thing.
Okay,
you continue.
And in the Sentai, Defender Torazord was in the fight. And you can actually see it if you played in slow motion. You can see Defender Torazord in the fight.
Good old Power Rangers. And giant Zords.
Yeah, what were you going to say, J-Boss?
I was going to say we don't have much final Megazord fights and team-ups.
Nope. This was the last team-up episode to feature Megazord battles. Now, I will admit, seeing the Omega Megazord powered up with the lights of Orion, that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That one part was pretty cool.
Yeah, but that's still not enough to save this episode.
No, it's not.
Although I will admit, I did like seeing Joel try to hit on Maya.
Yeah, that part.
That
He's
was
like,
cool.
hey.
Yeah.
That is so Joel. And that's the thing that sucks about this episode. If it had more moments of the Rangers just interacting like that, then I wouldn't mind this episode that much.
Oh, we cannot
Oh,
forget the
yeah.
infamous moment
Facts.
where that stupid secretary had the nerve to say, "There's no such thing as monsters."
Bro, it's like, okay, where were you?
My eye
when-
twitched when she said that. I was like,
You can't get away
woman,
with saying that stuff in this universe
Yo,
anymore.
where were you
Woman.
where Countdown Destruction was happening? Where were you when
woman,
that happened?
you are literally in a city that has demons on a regular basis. You're mean to tell me that you don't believe it?
Yeah,
It's
and
not even just that, but the fact
and the
that there
Power
have been
Rangers are like known figures here. I mean, it's like their identities aren't even secrets. So
and the whole thing with the stupid fire hydrant thing, that was dumb. All you had to do was say, "Oh, let's rescue Ranger. I'm here. Need to evacuate now. We have a
yeah,
demon."
that made no sense.
But no, they want to play hide and seek and go, "Oh, you gotta pull the fire alarm." Why did she have to pull the fire alarm? All
Mhm.
Carter had to do was pull rank and be like, "Hey, listen, there might be some demons here. We need to evacuate this building and clear out immediately." Then pull the fire alarm. Easy.
Yep.
Oh, for
Go
her
into your
mom.
Ranger form if you have to.
You got anything to say about this, Riz?
I'm getting
No,
irritated. I'm
y'all
starting.
covered
I'm starting to remember why I got irritated with this episode. Now
Yeah.
my head. I'm having a headache now just thinking about it.
But Anthony, I got good news for you.
Yeah,
The next one isn't as bad.
I know, and I'm kind of I'm grateful for that.
The next what?
Next team
The
up.
next one
Next
isn't
team
as
up.
bad.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we're going to transition to this one. This is a Time for Lightspeed, which is a team up episode between Time Force and Lightspeed Rescue. Now, this is a single part team up episode, which really sucks because it probably could have been good if it was at least a two-parter.
It still had flaws. It's a little bit
It's
better
fine.
than the last team up, but not as good as it
I
should
really
be.
like this one.
So the plot of this team up episode is that Vipra is revived. She digs herself out of a grave now.
Which doesn't make sense.
And I know what you're thinking. And actually, you know what? I'm just going to say this. If you're wondering how she was in a grave when her body was absorbed into Queen Manchira, good for you, because we all are. So
It's too complex
She's
for me to
back with that
understand.
awful acting.
yeah, but
There's
so
some explanation
Vipra-
for that. Hey, I got to do this. There's some explanation for that.
God.
Oh, in the classic, it's too complex for you to understand.
Yeah, so Vipra is attempting to go after this artifact known as the Solar Amulet to resurrect this super demon called Quargenon. And she enlists Rancic's help so that she can get it. She encounters the Time Force Rangers. Well, first she encounters Eric and the Silver Guardians first, but then blows them away. Then she encounters the other Time Force Rangers. And then Carter meets up with them, just literally driving right out of nowhere. And then,
Yeah, like, what's up, guys?
yeah. And by the way, just a brief nitpick here. How did he get the rescue rover out of there? Because isn't the aqua base like completely wrecked and filled with water at this point? Like,
Hey, I guess he can swim now.
yeah.
So did any of the people who survived the aqua base destroying, did they take the
They might have. I don't know.
rescue rover out?
They might have. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought about that. But yeah, so Carter comes in. He calls up the other Lightspeed Rangers. We get a feeling of what they've been doing since the last fight. And we'll get to that in a second. They're too late to stop Vipra from resurrecting the demon, but luckily the other Lightspeed Rangers show up. Rancic brags about how he can fight 10 Rangers, but then here comes Eric and Ryan right out of nowhere. And then all 12 Rangers fight. They defeat the Super Demon, and then the Time Force Rangers give the Lightspeed Rangers escort back to Mariner Bay. So
the last fight was pretty bland and pretty boring, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the morph was cool, but it was pretty
them all teaming up was cool, but just the execution of how they ended was pretty bad.
And a cool part.
Hey guys, I'm stepping away for just like 1 second. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
So like, just the fact that like all these Rangers teaming up, they're all using their battlers, not. Though the fight just ends in just a snap of your finger. It's over just like that.
It's like this. Yeah, I did like that part where they did all the finishers with the battleizers, but.
And another thing that really kind of irritated me about this episode was the fact that, man, Wes was getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like he was being thrown around like a rag doll at least 3 times in this episode. I counted. It was 3. He got thrown around by Rancid once, and I think twice by Vipra, and it just really irritated me. Vipra? You get your ass hit by Vipra? In
Vipra of all people?
Yes! Her bad acting? Oh, God.
Oh my God, don't tell me
about I'm back.
Oh, no, hell no.
So we were talking about how Wes was basically just getting thrown like a rag doll by not only Rancid, but also Vipra.
Here's the problem that I have with this episode. So in the Sentai team up episode, Time Ranger versus Go-Go 5, the villain that comes back is Pierre, and that's Jinxer's counterpart. You could have brought Jinxer back for this team up episode because think about it, Jinxer was supposedly killed, mind you.
Yeah, supposedly.
When the Omega went down. So you could easily have gotten away with just saying that he survived and he wants revenge on the Rangers.
And he's been hiding for like a year and, buying his time, getting his magic together.
Like, you could easily get away with that. I mean, and they did use some from the footage because believe it or not, the suit for the Super Demon, that suit in the Sentai, it's actually the combined form of Jinxer's counterpart and this monster that he's using in that team up episode. So
one of the mutants. I mean, alien. Well, they're aliens in Sentai, but if this made into the Power Rangers universe, it would have been a mutant.
There are a few upsides to this episode. Like, I do like how we show, like, the final scene showing the 2 teams interacting together, like trading uniforms, and the Time Force Rangers.
Yeah, that was a really good moment. I really enjoyed that moment.
That was a cool touch, and I like how we get to see where the Lightspeed Rangers went after they retired. Like, we can assume that Carter's still a firefighter.
Yep.
Joel is married to Miss Fairweather now, which is great.
He finally gonna get
Joel will get some of that action.
Yeah. Dana's a doctor. Chad is a lifeguard, and Kelsey is just out doing her sports stuff.
Is she with the mermaid?
Still looking for that mermaid.
Now, we don't know what Ryan is doing, though. I did hear that in an original draft for this episode, they were actually going to have a brand new Aqua base that was built, and he was going to be the commander of it, which sucks. Cool. That sounds like it'd be really awesome.
That sounds like something Boom Studios should do on the comics.
Yeah. Actually, Boom Studios, if you're listening to this, make that a thing, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. But yeah, this episode is it's not really good. I mean, it's completely rushed. I mean, like, the way that they defeat Vipra and the Super Demon is just so pathetic. It's like so Wes, Eric, Carter, Joel, and Chad all summon their battleizer-esque things. So in the case of Eric, Joel, and Chad, it's the Mega Battles. They just fire one attack at them, and then they just vanish. Like,
I did really like the attack, but it was like, they're dead already? What the hell?
But it was too easy.
Yeah.
But it was too easy.
They're dead already?
I will say that it's cool how we finally get a team-up episode that shows all 6 Rangers from the previous team and all 6 Rangers from the current team fighting together. So I probably don't hate this episode that much. Like, I have a soft spot for it because there are things that I like about it. But there's
it could have been better. It could have been way better than what it was.
Like, you got anything to say about this, Riz?
Nah, y'all covered that one as well, pretty well.
Yeah. So next up, we're moving on to my personal favorite team up episode. I love that I could talk about this episode and how awesome it is.
This was the most one of the most badass team ups ever, and it was good. It was good paced. It was good paced. It had everybody who had a role to play. Even the villains got to do stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
especially
this episode is called Reinforcements from the Future. It's a team up between Wild Force and Time Force. So basically the premise of this episode is that there's these creatures, there's these three monsters that appear from this portal called Mutorgs. They come into the future. No, the present, sorry. And Wes and Eric, who still have their ranger powers and are leaders of the Silver Guardians, they find those two monsters. They cross paths with the Wild Force Rangers. It turns out that these creatures are half mutant and half org, and we later find out that they're creatures that Ransik created. So all of the Time Force Rangers from the future have to return to the present with Ransik so that they can stop him. And just to kind of the reason why I love this team up episode is that while it doesn't do everything perfectly, it attempts to do everything that a team up episode should do. So first of all, you have interactions between the teams. You know, like you have this romance between Eric and Taylor, who that's just perfect because, as we all know, these two Rangers are some of the most abrasive characters we've ever had to deal with.
Oh, you have no idea.
So you got that romance. You know, you got that scene where Eric, Taylor, Max, and Danny. I know, insert the whole obligatory "Who's Danny" joke here, but but all jokes aside, you got that scene where they're at this parking lot and Max and Danny are just being idiots, and then Eric turns to Taylor and is like, "You got some weird friends." You got that scene. You got the scene where the two Red Rangers are just driving down the street and they're just talking. You got and then you got you got the final scene. It shows Danny and Katie arm wrestle. They just them having fun. This is everything that I wish a team up episode would do. Just showing these, because this is something that everybody wants to see whenever a crossover movie does. Like when you go to watch the Avengers, what do you want to see? You want to see Tony Stark and Captain.
Wow, I can't. I still can't hear you. You're breaking up kind of bad again.
Mm-hmm.
I can hear him just fine.
I can hear him fine.
I don't know. From my end, he's not. I don't know. Maybe it's my connection. Hang on.
Okay,
reboot your connection.
But continuing on, you got you always want to see these teams interact with each other, and
the interactions are one of the best.
That's exactly what they do, and it's just done so nice. It just shows that it shows the more human side to these Ranger characters, and I absolutely adore that. I've never seen a team up episode do that like this, and it's just completely perfect. The final battle is amazing, and it gives Ransik, it furthers Ransik's redemption story. I mean,
it's kind of, and it also really fits his character arc and what he did in Time Force and how that ended, and how
and it made so much sense how freaking strong Ransik was.
Yeah, I do think the only two complaints, and these are really just nitpicks. One, Merrick kind of comes out of nowhere at the end.
He didn't do much to the end. I'm like, where have you been?
Nowhere you see quantum power. Like, where do you came from?
We could have used you, even though they were still gonna get their ass kicked regardless. Yeah. When they're all fighting that quarry, when they teamed up with Wes and Eric.
Also Merrick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have used him. I mean, he wouldn't have helped much, but he still would have been there.
Yeah, and only other complaint I have, and this is you can tell, but I'm just desperately looking for stuff to hate here, is that during the morphing sequence, they only play the Wild Force theme song. We don't
Yeah,
get
I
to hear
noticed
any
that.
of Time Forces. That's kind of that kind of sucks, but you
I
know,
I
think
love
that was
Wild.
like due to the transition of them going to Disney. I think that's what it was. Maybe.
oh okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes some sense then. Yeah,
I do love Wild Force's opening.
yeah. I mean, Wild Force's theme song is great. Now I'm not the biggest fan of Wild Force. I really don't like Wild Force, but
Yeah, I have
I
issues with Wild
I,
Force.
I enjoy Wild Force's Zanaku arc, but everything after that with the kite arc, yeah.
Yes. Oh my god, I hate
and
that so much.
Riz can't stand Wild Force. It's like his second least favorite season. So yeah, but I adore this episode. I mean, like whenever I
This
watch Wild Force, this is the only thing I can look forward to seeing. Well, that and what we're going to be talking about next. But
okay, the two crossovers in Wild Force
Right?
stand separate from Wild Force because Wild Force is terrible.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like, no.
It's not that bad, but
Why did you? No, it's pretty bad.
like the only
You have the main Red Ranger.
compared to Ninja
His
Steel,
his primary way of fighting and helping is putting his hand on his heart, walking up to the monster, and saying, "Hey, let me listen to your story. I can hear you."
I can't talk about that with a straight face.
And the monster's like, "Bruh,
And you
I
don't
don't
have a
hear you."
brain. And you don't
Yeah,
have a brain.
Like he's
well,
like, "Really? You can hear my stir? Do you hear my stir beating you in the face?" And Cole's
that also
like,
came from Gower Ranger.
"What?" Okay, but see,
I don't like Gal Ranger. I
Cole.
don't
Yeah, Gower Ranger is terrible.
like, but
Also, that entire what do you call that thing? The arc with the
what?
guy and the
The
thing.
kite arc,
No,
kite,
no. That little kid feels like a
yeah,
god or
kite.
something.
That's
Hang
the
on, I'll be
same.
right back, guys.
Yeah, go ahead. Um, that, that-
I am forgetting the name. It's not Kai.
Artemis.
Animus. Yeah, yeah.
Animus, yeah, that arc was
The
terrible.
Animus arc was probably one of the worst arc in Ranger history.
Yeah,
But I do enjoy Wild Force's finale.
the finale
Nah,
wasn't
it was
great.
alright.
I liked it okay.
It was alright.
Probably because I'm a sucker for like roll calls, like suitless roll calls are my
Yeah,
favorites.
that's
Okay, the
super slow call as well.
suitless roll call was really good, but beyond that, nah.
Yeah. But kind of going back to what we're talking about here, yeah, I mean this team up episode, I mean I love it, and I hear that they had a really good time filming it too, because I hate to give much spoilers here, but I not only met the actress who played Katie in this team up episode, but I also did an interview with her. Rizwan should have that up soon.
I was there.
Yeah, Anthony filmed the thing actually. You know, she's a total sweetheart, and she actually gives me a hug in the interview. So, not to brag about that stuff, but
Lucky.
Oh, you're bragging.
Chasers.
but yeah, she absolutely loved coming back for like this team up episode, and like you know, I did an interview with the actor who played Eric too, although that one wasn't nearly as good because I'm kind of you know choking a little bit because I've never done that before. But yeah, he enjoyed it, so it really just shows that everybody who was working on this team up episode was just having the funnest time doing it.
I'm
Like,
not even gonna lie to you guys. The Time Force team, like cast in its whole is just they're just all phenomenal people.
I really
They
want to
really
meet the Time Force cast.
like my God, these people are like when they all come together and like they made Time Force. It received so well that like they were willing to do a sequel.
yeah, they were
they
going to
were
do a
literally
season two.
on they were gonna do Time Force season 2, and I would have watched it.
Yeah, but why from what Dan
So
Southworth?
I recently met Jason
Also,
Font and
they're
Eric
gonna do a Time
Vale.
Force movie.
Yeah, what were you
Oh
saying, Riz?
yeah,
Oh, Tony, let Red speak.
Oh,
So
okay.
I recently met Jason Font and Aaron Cahill at New Orleans Comic Con, or
Mhm.
Wizard World, or whatever you want to call that con.
It was a con.
And
It was
I
a con.
gotta, I gotta say, guys, like Aaron Cahill is quite possibly the most human you could ever meet. Like,
Absolutely.
She's such a great
so like
actress too.
a really good friend of mine saying he hurt his leg right before the convention, and we were gonna go down there together, meet Aaron Cahill, meet Jason Font, hang out, and all that stuff. And well, he hurt his leg pretty bad. He couldn't walk for like a week or two. So
Oh
I went
man.
with some other people, and while I'm down there, he texts me like, "Hey, so I know this is gonna be probably a bit of a pain in the ass, but could you grab me her autograph?" And I was like, "Yeah, I got you covered." I went
Oh
back, and Aaron's like, "You back from Wall already?" I'm like, "Yeah." My buddy hurt his leg pretty bad. He can't be here. And she literally was like tearing up hearing about this. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so adorable. And she literally came around her table again for like a second hug and gave me like the biggest hug in the world. Said, "You're a really good friend for like, taking care of your friend and all
yeah.
that stuff." Like she was so like supportive. And like even after like we're talking for a few minutes and like before I left, she like took my hand, like squeezed it hard, said, "Thank you for being a great friend for your friend." I was like, it's
Yeah.
not that big of a deal.
I
But
sort of had a similar experience with Karon's actress, but even though my friend or my cousin didn't think it
you met her,
interest
you met
related.
Melody,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony. You met
What?
Melody.
No, I mean like, but I met her for my cousins.
No. You met Melody Perkins.
Riz, I mentioned that earlier in this video, dude.
Yes, but I'm just not keying into the fact that Anthony met her, and
Yeah.
I'm extremely jealous right now and envious.
Oh,
I want to meet her.
okay, that's what it is. I'm
No,
just
but no, I can testify to what Riz said because Erin Cahill, I had a really nice conversation with her too. She called me one of the sweetest guys she's ever met.
Yeah.
She get it was either her or Tracy
Hey,
Lynn Cruz that gave me a kiss on the cheek, but
wait, who?
either her actress or Ashley's actress. Because I mean, I don't know. That's my natural charm, I guess you could say. But
Wow.
I also hung out with Jason Font and his girlfriend Angela for like a good 20 minutes, just shooting the crap about life and everything in between. And they're really down to earth people. Jason was so interested in like what I was saying, and whenever I was leaving, he's like, "Hey, just keep doing what you're doing in school. We're all really looking forward to you get your degree and getting out of there." Like he remembered everything I told him. He wasn't like just nodding along because he had to. He genuinely cared.
yeah,
he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
but to kind of use Jen as a way to like get back on that topic, that outfit that Jen is wearing in this episode,
Badass.
yeah,
Pink
Ooh,
Ranger.
that's a bad outfit in a good way. Ooh.
yeah, like
She came out there with
like
a badass with her sword and shit. Like, damn.
all these little kids were just had their mouths
I'm just
dropped.
gonna
Like,
say this: like if I worked at Time Force and some guy said like, "Hey, so Officer Desa, what can we do to make this organization better?" And I'm like, "Send Jen on more special assignments." So,
yeah.
All of a sudden, now you see Jin and Beast Morphers.
yeah,
Dude, they want to come back real badly.
yeah, but
Yeah, if the actors want to come back, that is, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we've kind of spent a little bit of extra time on this episode. Not that that's a big deal because this episode is just amazing. But we're going to move on to the next team up episode of Wild Force, which couldn't have come at a better time because, as these people said, after the Time Force team up episode, there was a really, really, really terrible arc with the Animus story arc, and then right after that, we get this episode, which was a huge breath of fresh air. Thank God. So this episode is called Forever Red. Now, this team up episode is also a way to represent the 10th anniversary of Power Rangers. So it's really special. So in this episode, there's a bunch of Big Bad Beetleborgs. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Machine Empire generals who are. Sorry, I had to make that joke.
Well, both are very accurate answers. So
Yeah.
This team up.
So they're on the moon. They're
Teams.
attempting to dig
Wow.
up Serpentera. And if you're wondering why Serpentera, that's Lord Zed's Zord, by the way, is on the moon. We'll get to that in a second. But they're attempting to dig up Serpentera so that they can use it to attack Earth and destroy it. And in order to combat it, Tommy, who apparently now owns a club, at least in this episode, starts recruiting the Red Rangers together to fight it off. So Cole gets recruited by Carter. Then they go to Minnesota Spaceport where they meet TJ, Wes, Eric, Andros, Tommy, who's making his first appearance since leaving in Turbo, by the way. So that was a pretty big deal here.
Yeah.
And then Jason comes in. Then they go to the moon and they meet up with Leo and Orico, and then they fight off the Machine Empire generals and stop them from.
Well, they had a really cool fight sequence before meet up with Orico and Leo. Unmorphed, mind you.
Yeah,
now,
great. This team up is legendary.
Yep.
Yes.
Like
this is arguably one of the best team ups.
Yeah, so I mean, just the way that now this is the shortest. This is obviously a single-parter episode, and it's a really sad story when you listen to the production behind this and how the people who were writing this team up episode really wanted to create something special that the fans deserved, but Disney, being Disney, just completely held them back.
Especially what happened at the end of the team up.
Yeah. I'm not going to really go into much detail. But yeah, I mean, it was originally supposed to be a two-parter episode, but they had to got it down to a single episode. And they unfortunately went over budget, so they had to. So Bandai of America had to completely bail them out, and in exchange for that, they had to advertise a new toy, which resulted in Cole battling Serpentera on his new motorcycle that he got at the end of the previous episode.
Yeah,
really horrible CGI battle.
Yeah,
not only that, Serpentera has apparently shrunken down in size since then too.
Oh, look, this bike can defeat Serpentera. What? Wait, how?
Yeah, but even though it does kind of, rush things a little bit, I still give it credit for simply the fact that there was effort put into it, and that the people who wanted who were making this episode, wanted to make something good.
Also, that roll call is one of the best roll calls in Power Rangers history.
Yep.
They messed it up.
How?
Leo said Go Galactic twice and said something Galaxy Ranger Red or something.
Oh yeah. That was kind of silly. And why does Wes simply say Time Force instead of saying Red Time Force Ranger?
Yeah, that's another thing. The later seasons just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Now there's some interesting things to know about this episode. There were originally supposed to be at least two other veteran Rangers to appear. They were going to have Rocky appear in this episode. Now, he wasn't going to be a Ranger, but they were going to have him be like Tommy's butler during the club scene. And they were going to imply that he still had his blue Zeo powers because they were going to have him wear his Zeonizers in the scene. Kat was supposed to appear in the episode as Tommy's wife, and she picks him up at the Nasada spaceport at the very end of the episode, which I wish they kept that scene in there. They do get some past actors to appear here, like the guy who played Kai, Archie Cow, voices the main villain here, General Venjix. Zach's actor, Walter Jones, voices another one of the Machine Empire generals. And same with Kat's actress. like Zach's actor voices the green one that gets destroyed by Tommy and Wes, and Kat's actress voices that one that Eric and Orico destroy, I think. So
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, pretty interesting. I mean, it's cool to see that scene where they're interacting together. Like, this is a fun fact. I don't know if anybody knows this, but like that scene where they're interacting and they're bragging about their achievements, that wasn't scripted. That was just them coming up with random
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Yeah.
and that amazing line where TJ said, "Yeah, guys, remember the time
I got
I was
baked
making a
Baked into a giant
random pizza?"
And I'm like, man.
No, and that scene where like Andros said, Andros said, "Hey, I saved 2 worlds." Well, originally he said, "Hey, I destroyed Zordon." What about that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Christopher came in lead.
Yeah, it
that would
did.
have pissed off a lot of fans.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like, and this was kind of explained a little bit in like some more, original scripts, but they kind of made Jason look a little bit more like an anti-hero here because he's kind of looking down upon Cole, and he kind of comes off as a little cocky, which
Yeah,
isn't
he's like,
really
"What's
his
up?" He's like,
character.
"What's up, rookie?"
Yeah, he
What's up,
doesn't
rookie?
shake Cole's hand; he just pats him on the shoulder.
It's like,
Um,
"All right, you did good, rookie." I'm like, "Okay."
and not only that, but like he says, like I originally read, like he said, like he says, like, "Hey, back rookie, let me show you how it's done." I read in that the original script, he said, "Hey, back rookie, and let me show you why the first guy is always the best." So now, granted, I agree with him on that quote, but still.
Eh.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just a pity how like we're like 17 years after this episode originally aired, and this is still like for the longest time this was the only good anniversary special that we got.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's just really a tragedy. I mean,
Anniversary wise, yeah.
yeah. Like, what do you think? You got anything to say, Riz?
I personally loved this episode quite a bit, but there are a lot of faults I have with it as well. Like just things I wish were done better that weren't. Namely, the roll call. I really regret how they handled it. The roll call could have been done a lot better, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I also think that, like all the other good crossovers, like the Danger and this one, it was far too short.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the random use of Beetleborg suits, though, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was quite hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. And that kind of does briefly remind me, like, in case you're wondering why Serpentera is on the moon. That's because one of the writers for this episode was actually a fan at one point, and he wrote his own fan fiction where it was pretty much fan fiction, where Serpentera somehow ended up in the moons, and he considered that canon. So it's a really complicated story. Like, Google something like Scorpion Rain, I think, and you can get the whole story.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, it's a good episode. I mean, personally, I would have loved to see their original final battle against Serpentera, which was going to include them. I think they were going to use like the Red Dragon Thunder Zord, the Red Shogun Zord, Red Battle Zord, TJ's Rescue Zord in high stance mode, the Astro Megazord. I don't know what Leo was going to use.
His Galactic Beast.
Yeah, and then they said they were going to use the Lightspeed Solar Zord, but I don't know how Carter can control that whole thing by himself. Well, actually, no, he did in one episode.
Yeah.
And then I guess Wes and Eric were just going to share the Q-Rex. I mean, yeah,
Might as
but
well.
that would have been a much more epic final battle. But yeah, thanks a lot, Disney.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So after that, we didn't get a team up in Ninja Storm. probably because, well, I mean, Disney was keeping a much bigger eye on the budget. Plus, I mean, the show only got moved to New Zealand in production. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it could have been good. Maybe it couldn't. I don't know. I mean, like one can only think. But so next up, we're going to move on to what I would call the third best team up episode in Power Rangers. It's called Thunderstorm.
Oh, my favorite team up.
Yeah. So in this episode, this teams up
Thunderstorm.
Dino Thunder and Ninja Storm. And in this episode, what happens is that due to construction and Reefside weakening the ground, the Abyss of Evil, Lothor and his forces escape. And he disguises himself as Kanoi and gives Tori, Shane, and Dustin, the three former Wind Rangers, new morphers that completely turns them evil. Like they get put under his control. He captures all of the ninja students and forces Mara and Capri to rejoin him.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he uses the Wind Rangers to wage war on Reefside. The three Dino Rangers have to fight him off. And while all this is happening, Cam and the Thunder Rangers have to go into the Abyss of Evil so that they can retrieve Cam's morpher that still has their powers inside of it. They free the Wind Rangers, and then they all combine forces to stop the combined forces of Mesogog and Lothor. Now, there's a lot to like about this episode, and I would imagine that the first major thing you can see is that this is the first team up. Now, admittedly, one team is under mind control, but this is the first time that two Ranger teams have come to blows with each other. And yes, one team is under mind control, but that's still pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a really cool fight.
Yeah. My only complaint with that, though, is that, and this is something that Linkara really puts out, I think they should have had it so that maybe Connor, Kira, and Ethan were the ones that saved Shane, Tori, and Dustin, because Cam and the Thunder Rangers saving them kind of makes the other two Rangers makes the Dino Rangers look a little weaker, if you know what I'm saying. Like
yeah, I didn't really mind it.
No, yeah, and that's a minor nitpick. I mean, but I still enjoy it for what it is.
So this episode has my favorite team up roll call.
Oh yeah, that's pretty epic.
Yeah, I liked it.
Do what?
And what I like about this one is that how they each say it, like Ninja Storm, Thunderstorm, and then Trent just let on the power up. Thunderstorm Major Form, everything about it is just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in the future team ups, Trent just says Dino Power powered up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And somebody pointed this out to me. This team up episode is actually the biggest gathering of former evil Power Rangers. Because let's think about it. Tommy was evil when he first became the Green Ranger. Actually, no. Tommy, the Thunder Rangers, and Trent were all evil when they first became Rangers. Tori, Shane, and Justin were literally evil in this episode. And Kira was evil in that one episode. Dinosaur monster put her under mind control for like 2 minutes. So only Connor, Ethan, and Cam, though even then, Cam was evil in that one episode where Tori got beamed to like some parallel dimension where the Rangers were evil. So yeah, only Connor and Ethan have never been evil in this team up.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, and one other thing that's cool is that I mean, I hate Lothor, so I like seeing Mesogog kick his butt at the end.
Oh my god, yes, that was a breath of fresh air.
I like Ninja Storm as a fun. Ninja Storm for me was like a fun chill season. I love
Ninja Storm, but Lothor was kind of meh.
I just don't like Lothor. That's all.
Yeah, Lothor was kind of meh though, but he was pretty smart though. That's all credit I'm giving.
And of course, there's also one other cool scene where
the better villain did be his ass.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's also this one other cool scene where they get Mara, one of Lothor's nieces, and Cassidy, and they both pass by each other and be like, "Oh my god, that girl was like so totally beautiful, but I am so much more prettier." And that's
That
funny
scene's
because
awesome.
they're both
Yeah,
played by the same
same
actress.
actress.
Same actress.
Yep.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah, just yeah, I really can't think of anything else to say about this episode. I mean, it's great.
It's just a really fun time to get them all together and hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
interactions are great. Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite for a reason. Love this one.
Although I do. Actually, no, never mind. Never mind. I was thinking about something else. Sorry about that. I do. Yeah, I mean, my only real complaint is that maybe you could have had Connor, Kira, and Ethan save the Wind Rangers, but you know what? I mean, I can look past that. I mean, that's still pretty cool. Um, so yeah, we got a few more, but like after this next season, Power Rangers SPD, that's kind of where the team up episodes become a little bit more like rare. Um, so we're going to move on to Power Rangers SPD, which actually featured 2 team up episodes. The first
Yeah.
one
Two good ones.
is called History. It's a 1 episode. So in this episode, Connor, Kira, and Ethan, and this takes place in like 2005, the present year that SPD was airing. Those 3 Rangers are, at their high school reunion, but then they get brought to the future by Broodwing, who wants to use them for his evil deeds. They refuse. They meet up with the SPD Rangers, and they help the SPD Rangers fight off some Crybot forces, which, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty plain episode. And yeah, I mean, this episode is just kind of there for me. Like, I mean,
I enjoyed this
I
episode.
enjoyed the episode. I didn't think it was plain. I liked it.
yeah,
I like
I mean,
this one.
I don't mind it. Like, here's the thing: I don't hate it. Like, it has a great final battle. I like that final battle.
Is this the one where they say no one gets inside?
No, that's not.
No,
That's
No one
That's
gets
the next one.
inside.
we're gonna
That's
get to that in a second, but yeah, this episode to me is just kind of there. I mean, now I do like how it does go on to show like what Connor, Ethan, and Kira go on to do in the future. Like apparently Connor has like a worldwide soccer program. Ethan's developed technology that even SPD uses, and Kira is apparently a world pop star. I mean that's pretty cool commentary, and I like that. But
Yep.
um,
But I also like the fact that the SPD Rangers are being dicks to the Diamond Rangers. I'm like, do y'all know who y'all talking to right now? Like,
yeah,
Well, I mean, they kind of don't.
I mean, you would think they would look up on history, like, hey, these guys were Diamond Rangers, and like,
I mean, Cat brought him up in the history.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how often does that really matter to them, though?
I mean, I think it would at
I don't
least.
need you defending these guys, okay?
I mean, I think it would at least matter to Sky because I mean, Sky seems like that kind of that would read up on that stuff, or at least Bridge. I mean,
he'd be at least excited to see Connor because he's a Red Ranger. He wants to be a Red Ranger, so
yeah,
nostalgia. I don't know. It just weirded me out that they would just treat him like so, like not too bad, but just kind of brush him off like, oh. Then when they as soon as we can't talk about it yet because that's the next team up. But
yeah, I don't hate this episode. I mean, to me, it's just kind of there. Like, I mean, like, what do you think, Riz and J Boss?
Like the first one. Go ahead, say Boss. You can go first.
Oh, I enjoyed this one. I thought it was alright for how the team up was, and I really enjoyed Kira, Ethan, and Connor coming back because Down Thunder is like in my top 5. So
Yeah,
it was a really like decent team up. Yeah, that's my.
What were you gonna say, Riz?
I liked it. Again, I like the entire like time travel deal and going back in time and getting help, quote unquote.
Well, they don't go back in time in this one. We're about to get to that one, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of helps us go on to the second team up between Dino Thunder and SPD. Now, weird thing about this episode was that this episode didn't air originally with the SPD lineup. Like, it was originally released as part of like a never before seen or released episode on like the last DVD release for SPD. And then it finally aired on TV like I think like a week or two before Mystic Force was getting ready to air. So that's kind of interesting. But this episode is called Wormhole. And once again, it's the SPD Rangers and Dino Thunder Rangers. So this time we have all 7 SPD Rangers and all 5 Dino Rangers. And in this episode, Grum decides that he wants to Grum decides to go back in time to conquer Earth there, following Rancic's school of villainous tactics. Jack, Sid, and Bridge chase him there in order to fight him off. And keep in mind the time that he goes back in time, 2004, where the Dino Rangers are still active and Mesogog is still about because Zeltrax appears in this episode. And the Dino Rangers team up with those Rangers, but eventually the other 4 SPD Rangers come and they fight off Mesogog's forces. Grum realizes that he has a lot to accomplish, so he just opts to go back to 2025. Everyone's memories are erased except Tommy and Sam's, and we'll get to Tommy because there's a pretty touchy subject about Tommy in this episode.
Yeah, he's not there.
Here, and then everything just carries on. We should address the elephant in the room here first. Tommy only appears morphed in this episode. Some could probably say like maybe this took place around the same time that he was stuck in his Ranger form.
Yeah.
But you can't use that argument though because Connor uses his Battleizer in this episode, and Connor's Battleizer debuted immediately after Tommy was freed from his Ranger form. So
maybe it was like a weird temporal like shift in time because they went through a wormhole. Maybe things in that Dino Thunder universe probably or happened like differently.
Yeah, okay, probably. I never thought of that. So you could probably just get away with that argument. Apparently,
I'm just fixing whatever the mess that they made in that episode. That's all I'm saying.
Jason David Frank was apparently not contacted to be in this episode because, which is funny because that if Saban did this, his first immediate thing would be David Frank.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Yeah. Jason David Frank? Yes. Hello, Jason. Can you come, please?
Like, apparently they didn't want to pay for Jason David Frank to come back to New Zealand, which just completely sucks. And the guy that they got to voice Tommy was the actor who played Trent.
Around Dino Thunder's airing, I think he had kids. Tommy, JD.
Yeah, that's why he left to go back because he had to go take care of his kids and family and stuff.
Yeah.
He was gone for like 4 months or something.
Yeah. Now, there's some cool moments. Like, obviously, I like to see teams fight, and this is also a fun fact here. This is the only Disney-era team-up episode where the final battle isn't in a quarry. It's actually in a field, which...
Right.
Yeah. And the famous line, "No one gets inside."
Oh my god, that's stupid.
That was so hilarious.
And then they all split up, and I'm just like,
what the heck was up with that?
What was the point of the no one gets inside thing?
Yeah.
They're just gonna split up anyway.
Yeah.
And this is the team up.
Yeah, there's and here's another question. They have to erase everyone's memories here. Okay, I understand that they erased the memories of Connor, Ethan, and Kira in the previous episode. Why do they have to erase the memories of all the Rangers here, though, if they didn't erase the memories of the Rangers in the previous episode? That makes no sense to me.
Wait, but wasn't that?
Because
Wait, but
reasons.
wait a minute. But wasn't that in the wasn't that in the Dino Rangers the future?
Oh
So
yeah,
they got their memories erased twice.
yeah. Men in Black stuff.
That's weird. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you would think
Also,
something
fun
that
fact.
you would think something would have been wrong with him. And what about Tommy? I mean, we didn't see him get his memory erased.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it's also funny how, like, there's like this brief scene that acknowledges Tommy's life, which kind of goes back to what Anthony was talking about with shouldn't they know who the Dino Rangers are. Jack specifically says in this episode, "Oh, hey, it's the Black Ranger. I've read all about him."
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it's Tommy, he's the badass. Like, but then when the Rangers come in, they're like, oh, dinosaurs. Like, what?
Yeah. And one other complaint I have here is we don't get a full morph with all the Rangers.
No,
Like the team up morph is the 5
Yeah.
Dino Rangers and just Jack.
no,
Bridge,
the four Donovan Rangers.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so the main 3 Dino Rangers plus Trent, and then just Bridge, Jack, and Z. Like, and then the other 4 SPD Rangers just show up randomly, already morphed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is another thing where instead of Trent saying White Ranger Dino Power, he just says Dino Thunder Power Up.
I think.
Well, I think I go for time in that.
I think he did that in a Dino Thunder episode too, though. Like,
Yeah, it was a couple errors when he did that, but it did happen though.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact: this episode counts as the final episode according to Netflix.
Wait, what'd you say?
Yeah.
Like on Netflix, it says it's the final episode.
Oh yeah, because it aired like sometime.
It aired way after.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this episode is just mad to me.
It's alright.
I mean, it's cool, but whatever. I mean,
this was an all right team up, but this is the episode I want to say this is a meh episode, and the last episode was actually pretty good.
Okay, so with this episode, the long-time team up episode streak is finally snapped.
Dino Snap.
Overdrive.
We don't get a team up episode between SPD and Mystic Force, unless you count this Blink and You'll Miss It cameo that Piggy makes in this one episode of Mystic Force.
We don't count that.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
But then we move on to Operation Overdrive, which, as most people know, is the least favorite season of me, Riz, and Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah.
I could go on a tangent about how bad that show is, for almost 3 hours. It's that bad.
I think Ninja Steel is worse, but that's just me.
I'll get to that too. That there also is also
that's acceptable, but okay. So Operation Overdrive, much like its Sentai anniversary season, 15th anniversary special. So thus we have once a week. Now this is a 2-part episode. It's the only anniversary special that's a 2-parter episode now that I remember. So basically what happens is here in this episode, we get this villain named Thrax who literally just pops up out of nowhere on the moon, like saying, after all these years, I'm free. Dude, it's after 10,000 years, I'm free. Get it right, dude.
Man, he doesn't remember mommy and daddy anymore.
Right.
Yeah. He assembles all of the villain factions of the Overdrive. So that's Furious, Moltor, Candor's forces, and the Fear Cats.
The Fear Cats were the only villains I actually liked in that show, sadly.
Yeah. And he pretty much assembles them all together so that they can get rid of Power Rangers. Now, Thrax is also the son of Rita and Zed, or at least he claims to be. I don't think he is. And there's some kind of continuity problem with him there, too, and we'll talk about that in a second. But so what happens is that Thrax assembles the villains together. They, through reasons that are never explained well, cut the Overdrive Rangers off from the Morph grid, which renders them powerless. So in order to keep the Rangers safe, the Sentinel Knight recruits 5 veteran Rangers, which includes Adam with his Black Mighty Morphin powers, Tori, Blue Wind Ranger, Kira, the Yellow Dino Ranger, Bridge, who's the Red SPD Ranger, and we'll talk about why he's there and not Jack or Sky in a little while. And then Xander,
Plan Xander.
Anthony's best friend, and I mean that literally. I did an interview with the man. Xander.
Yeah, my name's Xander.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember, guys, Plan Xander always / never works.
Right.
Never.
No, but so yeah, they get brought together to defend the jewels of the Corona Aurora and defend the city since the Overdrive Rangers don't have their powers anymore. While they're fighting this evil alliance, the Overdrive Rangers begin to feel useless, and
they are useless. Because they are useless.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. That was perfectly acceptable that time.
I know. I did it on purpose.
No, but yeah. So they quit because they're pissed off that they're not getting all the glory. And for the record, all the people saying that they feel like they're useless. There's a shot where Ronnie is holding a newspaper showing the Rangers saving the day, and she's clearly frustrated. So yeah, they're pissed off that they're not the ones getting all the glory this time.
Exactly.
So do not try to challenge me on that. So then, Thrax tries to go after this sword because we need to clumsily debut the Zubon character from Bokenger in some way. And they get the sword. The veteran Rangers get Alpha 6 back, which makes absolutely no sense because he's supposed to be on Marinoi. He fixes the morphing grid. The Overdrive Rangers get their powers back, and then they fight off the Evil Alliance, and then everybody goes home. And everybody here is disappointed because we just got a really bad anniversary special. So
the only thing good about it was the fact that the veteran just came back. That was about it. Nothing else.
I like this episode. I think this is a good team up, to be honest. I like this one.
Okay, well, here's where we're going to get into a debate, and it's okay.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine that you don't agree.
Yeah. We don't really have that many team up episodes left, so it's okay for us to kind of
we can get
linger a little bit on this one, but
and it kind of does fill in that gap of them not having team ups, but it's broken again after this season.
So here's the problem. Okay, so first of all, there are several continuities with this episode. Thrax is the son of Rita and Zed, but he was also imprisoned by the Sentinel Knight 1,000 years ago. So how can he be Rita and Zed's son when those two weren't married until recent history in Power Rangers?
Exactly.
Unless Lord Zed somehow broke into her space dumpster at one point, knocked up Rita without her knowing.
That sounds horrible, and I don't want it to be canon.
Yeah.
Hey, Rita.
Hey. Yeah, but so that's
Let
one.
Let me show you my staff, Rita.
Yeah, like
hey, Rita.
So that's one problem. Two, the Sentinel Knight, if he can restore the powers of these veteran Rangers, dude, why didn't you just restore the Overdrive Rangers' powers?
And another thing,
because they're worthless, guys.
And another thing, if the villains could do that whole let's use our powers to mess up their morphing grid, why did they do it again for these Rangers?
Well, no. They explained that in that episode because Hartford reinforces the morphing grid.
Okay. They did save that. Okay, so you
but even then, though, that creates the plot hole though because you can reinforce the morphing grid, but you fix it.
Yeah, see.
So there's that. Why is Alpha in Angel Grove when he should have been on Marinoi? So there's that.
Yep.
Here's a minor nitpick. Why is Tori wearing the Wind Ranger suit that she wore throughout Ninja Storm when she should be wearing her Sensei's uniform that she was wearing in Thunderstorm? That's a minor nitpick, but that's what I'm doing here.
Maybe that was her favorite outfit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she kind of retired from being a master. I guess maybe.
Yeah.
That would explain another stupid thing that happens in Ninja Steel. When I get to that.
Okay, so there's that problem. and then Thrax could easily have killed the Overdrive Ranger, leaving, failing to Excelsior, but he just teleports away. Okay, so that's another major plot hole. How does Xander know how to pilot when he was? I mean, I can understand Adam. I can understand Adam, Tori, and Kira and Bridge being able to pilot swords, but Xander always.
So I cut you off because I say one thing about Adam. That part where he morphs and the music that plays in the background is pretty rocking.
I do agree. I do agree with that.
Yeah. So there's that problem. But here's also the main problem with this. This shows how this. Okay, the problem with this is that it shows that the veteran Rangers are infinitely better than the Overdrive Rangers. Because here's the thing: the Overdrive Rangers, when all these villains unite together, they get their butts handed to them. And they need the help of these veterans just to fight them off, which really just begs the question, like, why didn't these villain factions just unite again one more time to destroy them? I mean, sure, you don't have Thrax.
Because they didn't get along.
Beat them easily.
I do agree. Even though the clear answer is they just didn't get along with each other, but like at the same time, they were still arguing even with Thrax there.
Yeah.
So
and also, why does the Sentinel Knight destroy Thrax and not the combined forces of the Rangers?
Exactly. It just makes that like Adam was doing good. Like you could have had like Adam and all the rest of the Rangers like shoot their energy blast at Thrax, and then that could be like the big battle against Thrax. But no, he just dies.
And since I'm using a minor nitpick here, during like that final, Adam assists Mac with wielding the drill blaster, and it's like, dude, why didn't you use your blade blaster or your power axe in blaster mode? I mean, okay, I know that's a minor nitpick. I'm sorry, but yeah. So obviously there's some continuity in this episode, but like I said,
there's a lot of continuity in the thing.
But the biggest problem here is that it makes the Overdrive Rangers look like jerks because they give up when they lose their powers, and I mean, I know that
they have civilian powers.
I can agree on that part about the Overdrive Rangers, but everything else, I'm like,
yeah. And if you can look past that and enjoy the veteran Rangers coming back, then I can understand that because the veteran Rangers are the best part about this team up episode.
Exactly.
Yeah, Kira's great. Xander's probably the best part about Mystic Force.
Yeah.
Tori is awesome.
But yeah, I mean we've
awesome.
rants about how horribly unlikable the Overdrive Rangers are. So talking about
understand that.
Just beating it. So we're not going to talk about that.
Especially shut up, Dex.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm glad you guys mentioned Bridge because if you're for those of you who are wondering like why Bridge is here instead, originally they wanted to get Jack, but his actor pulled out when he found out that Kira was going to be in the episode because they
were dating.
Yeah, Brandon J. McLaurin, however you pronounce his name.
He said his name right.
Yeah, and Emma Lahana, who played Kira, they were dating at one point, but they had just broken up, and he didn't want to return.
That's why Jack didn't come back.
And for some reason, they didn't contact Chris Violette, who played Sky.
That kind of irritated me a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, really?
And in case you're wondering how I know that, and this is another interview that Riz will have up at some point, I interviewed Chris Violette, and he told me that straight to the face.
Sky's like one of my favorite Rangers.
Yeah. And Anthony filmed that, so he saw it too.
I'm a witness.
Yeah, so he said that straight to both my face and Anthony's face. So, which makes no sense. I mean, hey, Sky's the Shadow Ranger then by that law. But, I mean, though, does that mean that the suit no longer comes with those dog ears? But, whatever. I mean,
I don't know.
No, but the point is, I mean, now, I would say that the bar was low for this because I've seen Super Sentai, and as much as I love Bokenger still, I really like Bokenger. I'm not a fan of Bokenger versus Super Sentai. I think that team up episode was just meh.
Really?
Like,
really, you don't like that one?
I don't hate it. I
like it. I liked it.
I like that one. Actually.
compared to this episode, it's amazing. But like, I just don't like how the veteran Rangers just have problems getting along when it's like, haven't your teams all kind of done crossovers together with each other at certain points? It's like, so yeah, that just I don't know. That's a conversation for another subject. Yeah, point is, Once a Ranger is just not good, and we've already talked. And Anthony Riz and I have talked both on this channel and in
way too many channels.
Otaku Sentai Digiranger on just how much we don't like this episode. So yeah, I mean, we're just beating a dead horse if we keep on talking about this.
Like, mind you, we don't hate the veteran Rangers at all. We just didn't
which is
like how the Overdrive Rangers were just being a bunch of quitters. It just really irritated us. We just didn't like the fact of quitting.
Yeah, and if you want a really good way of how this episode is critiqued, go and look at Linkara's video and how he shows like a montage of clips of Rangers refusing to give up. And that alone just shows how bad that, like the whole, like, Tommy saying, like, I don't care, I'm a Power Ranger till the end.
I didn't watch much of Linkara's reviews. I mean, I've seen Disney Brain's reviews and Japan animes and Orange Ranger, but yeah, other than that.
I've seen them all, like Japan anime.
The only Linkara review I think I saw was the Samurai one, because I love that one.
Yep.
That was a good one. I like the Samurai review.
I hate Samurai because Shinkenger's my favorite Sentai.
Dude, me too.
Yeah, and I'm glad you guys mentioned Samurai because we know we're on to the next team up episode. But just before we talk about that,
here we go. Here we go with the news.
So first off, Jungle Fury didn't feature the team up episode, nor did it even mention no connections. RPM, because it takes place in a different dimension, as revealed by the episode that we're about to talk about, doesn't have a team up episode, though it does show Jungle Karma Pizza, though obviously a different one in a brief episode. You guys remember it's the one talking about Ziggy's past where Fresno Bob's ripping that place off.
Yeah.
And then it also showed an Operation Overdrive helmet in the wreckage of the place that Dr. K used to work at.
Good.
But no team up episode. No, what is?
That's where that helmet should be, lying in dust.
Yeah.
That's because they're dust.
No, I just like how Anthony said that. So next up we move on to Power Rangers, which gives us a team up episode, and you guys can't see me, but I'm putting huge air quotes over
quotations,
over team up. This is a team up between the Samurai Rangers and the RPM Rangers. No. Sorry. The Samurai Rangers and the Red RPM Ranger. Okay,
now only comes for voices only.
Yeah. Now you can probably already see the problem with this without me even having to give the plot, but let me just give a basic plot. So this monster called Professor Cog arrives in the main Power Rangers universe from the RPM Rangers dimension. He wants some water from the Sansu River to power this machine that we never see in the show.
How would he know that?
Yeah. Scott follows him there and meets up with the Samurai Rangers, but Professor Cog traps all the Samurai Rangers except Jaden in the RPM Rangers dimension, which means that these two Red Rangers now have to, come together to stop Professor Cog. And then there's also this side plot with a Nylok monster named General Gut, because they had to somehow throw in this was basically both an adaptation of Shinkenger versus Gowager and the Shinkenger movie that debuts the
this thing butchered both, and it really irritates me.
Was Shark Attack mode called Hyper Mode in Shinkenger?
Hyper Shinken.
Hyper Shinken Red, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it was called the Kyoryu Origami.
Yep.
Yeah, they combine both of those things, which is already stupid.
As As
So
much as I hate
before
Go
you
Hunter,
guys
I like
talk
that
about
team
this,
better.
I just want to say one thing. When I saw that this was going to be a thing at first, I was hyped because I'm like, oh my God, I finally get a team up episode after waiting all this long. I'm going to see the RPM Rangers and the Samurai Rangers fighting together. This is going to be epic. Then later I see, oh, okay, they're just going to have the RPM Rangers appear in Ranger form only. Okay, that kind of sucks, but how bad can it be? Then the episode,
Voice me.
and then I'm
And
like,
they had the nerve to call it a movie.
yeah.
A movie.
This
Ugh.
movie's on Netflix. It's trash.
And
I will never watch it again.
Yeah, and now let me just say this: this episode, this could have been good if, because on all honesty, I don't mind only seeing Scott morphed only. I mean, okay, that's a little irritating.
I love Scott, so I don't mind seeing him only.
I like Scott too.
If you had gotten all the RPM Rangers, and you could tell that they're literally trolling us because there's a point where Emily says to Scott, "Hey Scott, your team says hi." Like they're trolling us with that.
I know.
That pissed me off, man. I'm like, oh hell no. Don't go there.
And
I know.
so you got that, and this team, I wouldn't have even minded if I only saw the other RPM Rangers morphed only. I mean, would that have been a little irritating? Yeah, but I wouldn't mind. Honestly.
No, I wouldn't either.
But to only have Scott, it's almost as if okay, if you're only going to have Scott, why the hell did you even bother making this episode in the place?
Exactly.
It's like
you didn't do it for the fans because I mean,
because the thing is here, what would have made this episode in because Samurai and RPM are both two totally completely different Sentais. Samurai is one of those series where their powers come from magic and ancient powers from in this case, hundreds of years ago. And RPM's powers are man-made technology. So to see those two things work off each other, that would have been interesting.
Exactly.
So this could have been a good team-up episode, but it's just bizarre reasoning that just, I don't know,
it's so bad.
I don't know. It's like
how much it has so many problems.
It's like,
and the continuity is
this should have
all
been
over the place.
Preview of how incompetent the writing staff was going to be to Super Mega Force.
Oh God, don't tell me that reminds me what's next on the team up list.
And by the way, Nathan, there's actually a continuity error with this. This aired before Super Samurai aired, mind you. So them getting their power ups and all that stuff. It if you have not watched Super Samurai yet, you're gonna be like, wait, how does he get this power? They get these powers already? What is this?
Well, some people are trying to say that this could be a partial defense, but there's still some problems with that. In the episode that debuts the sword, there's that episode begins with the Samurai Rangers returning home from something. Some people interpret that as they're returning from their battle with Scott, the Bullzord, but that's all we can really think of. I mean, even then it doesn't really make much sense because, sorry, Antonio was with them, even though Antonio doesn't appear unmorphed in this episode. Also, Antonio wasn't in this episode either. It's they get this voice actor that sounds absolutely nothing like him to voice him, and they show him unmorphed briefly, but it's this dude that has his back to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just... And then Professor Cod comes back in Super Mega Force without any explanation.
There's lots of things unexplained in that series.
And you don't even bother to get a single RPM Ranger, not even a freaking cameo from one of the side characters?
Yeah.
Really? Not Dr. K?
If you want to
Where's the homie Ziggy? Where's my man Ziggy?
I would buy if they brought Tanaya back, because that would at least been something.
If you wanted to make this episode better. Have this take place after RPM took place. Because they hint in this episode that this episode takes place before Venjix's final defeat. Have Professor Cog, the body that's used for Professor Cog, be another body that Venjix can possess.
And the reason why the Red Ranger was the only one that was going after him because he came out as a morpher. That was like a vendetta thing. Like,
have it so that Scott has been brainwashed by Venjix. Because if you recall the final scene in RPM, it shows an ominous red light that could be Venjix flashing in Scott's morpher.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, this is simple stuff. I mean,
it's like the fans are more confident than the writers, and that's really sad.
Nowadays, in the Neo Saban era, the fans know more than the Neo Saban can ever do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this
I could have made a better story than that.
Hell,
I mean RPM's crosswords is really crap. Like, they had so much potential to do good with, like, the multiverse. They could have brought it up, but no one wanted to.
I blame Zactor. He ruined. Yeah. He's just
Jonathan Zactor, the true villain of the Neo Saban era.
Pretty much. Well, majority of it.
Yeah, well, the first half. Yeah. Until we get to Becca Barnes. Oh, shit.
Okay, we put off talking about this episode long enough. Here we go. Oh, Lord.
Here we
go.
Legendary War. Legendary Battle.
Legendary Battle, yeah. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
This is arguably the worst team up ever.
Before this episode came out, Samurai had Megaforce had 2 episodes where past Rangers appeared. They had one episode where Jaden randomly appeared, and then they had another episode where Casey appeared. The one where Casey appeared,
that one's good actually. The Casey one's good actually.
Well. Now, it's a meh episode for me. Like, the moments with Casey are great, but Troy just completely ruins that episode.
Oh, you mean his?
Yes.
Oh, you mean
the
his
robot Troy?
Nobody. Let's go with the weapons ever. This is my talk.
Anthony, never say that quote again, or I'll kill you. That gives me PTSD.
A Ranger never loses his weapon.
Okay, is there a possible way for me to reach the computer so I can kill anybody who? Because I'm gonna find a way. Yeah, I hate that. Oh,
that was one of the worst quotes in Ranger in history will ever say.
Yeah,
more than I got baked in a giant pizza. That's not as bad as that line is now.
Okay, well, so this is basically the final episode of Megaforce. So it's kind of iffy to call it a team up, but it does feature multiple past Rangers, so you really can't get away with excluding this. Yeah. Basically, it starts off pretty much almost identically to how Gokaiger ends, i.e. the Armada invades it. The Megaforce Rangers have to fight it off. But then after that big final battle with the Emperor Mavro, I think his name is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Actos Gill's counterpart. After that final battle, it turns out that this big, fleet of X-Borgs coming, and the Rangers can't fight them off, even though they just probably fought off like millions of them 2 seconds ago. And all the past Rangers show up, and we get to see the faces of a few past Rangers, including Tommy, who's donning the Rangers because, of course. We see TJ and Cassie, which I liked actually. I mean, I like Cassie. We see 3 Galaxy Rangers: Leo, Carone, and Damon. Even though Damon doesn't say anything,
didn't have any lines that irritated me.
Carter and Dana. Carter and Dana. Wes, and
which I enjoyed seeing him again because this wasn't his last team up.
Yeah, and then I think the only 2 other Rangers that we see are Mike and Samurai.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you could have brought back anybody anybody, but you brought back those two.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
So they give the Rangers a little bit of pep talk, and the legend battle with that is just so horrible. It is horribly edited. Like there's this scene. It takes footage directly from the legendary from the Gokaiger version, where it shows the teams of Ninja Rangers battling. So you see the
Oh
Ninja
my
Rangers
god, I hate this scene so much.
you can clearly hear like Tommy's, from like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
It was so terribly edited, but it was laughable at the
That's
same
not
time.
Tommy. That's Cam. That's Cam. It's not Tommy. And then you got the scene, and this is one scene where even if you're not a fan of like, you gotta love this reaction to this. Robo Knight comes out of nowhere, and he'd be like, "Oh, hi,
Where the
old."
fuck he came from? Hi, Robo Knight. Where you came from? No, fucking nowhere.
And then, and that's the point where Linkara freezes the thing, and then he takes out a gun, laughing at Knight, starts shooting it all over the place.
It starts screaming, and I start screaming at the bullets.
Awesome.
They defeat the Armada, and then the legendary Rangers descend into heaven, or they do something.
They disappear into light, and then they just burst into like mini particles and space.
And
where are they all dead?
Troy sticks his weapon into the ground and then let go of it, which completely violates his philosophy. And then that's it. Do we really have to talk about this?
I don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do it.
This is horrible.
I just want to mention one thing. That part when the team was saying, "Go Wild Forest, go in the storm," I just wanted to punch the fuck at them. It's like, shut the fuck up.
keep your F's on F bombs. Like keep you gotta keep PG-13 here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's okay, man. I made that mistake.
We all made that mistake once.
And let me just say this. I do hate Once a Ranger, and sometimes I call it first team up. But the more I watch the Legendary War, the more I feel tempted to say that this might be a little worse because there's just
little.
I mean, you think it's worse?
Only a little? Only a little worse? It's not that bad.
I mean,
it's the worst one for me.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, just the way that it rushes things. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, I still call Once a Ranger worse, but this one still, it's like Once a Ranger only beats this one by like literally a hair to me.
I still think this is worse than Once a Ranger, honestly.
I mean, what do you have to? I mean, there's a couple of things like I like that moment where like Carone says, "I love being a Power Ranger." That was cool.
But that was pretty good.
Yeah, but I was wondering why didn't Linkara get the whole like Astronomer face thing? Like, it was pretty obvious that like this was Astronomer's this was Carone's like basically like her moment of saying wow, like, because this was like a callback to the In Space episode where she and Ashley switched bodies, where she said I want to be a Ranger anyway, to now saying I love being a Power Ranger. She came that far from so long ago.
Yeah, I like that. That's a touching moment, but really, I mean, that's like a very small, tiny diamond in just a huge pile of garbage.
Diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
The Megaforce cast do not deserve this because they're a fun bunch too.
Yeah.
I don't hate the Megaforce cast. I hate the direction they were given in this entire show.
Yeah, they basically
Ciara's a sweetheart. I mean,
they basically told Andrew to stay wooden.
Yeah, Ciara's a sweetheart. Now, I'm not going to say anything like very explicit about Ciara.
Ciara's my bae.
Because she's Rizwan's wife, so I can't really say anything about that. But I've met her twice, and I've gotten her to say hi to Rizwan. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, and she's blown a kiss twice. So, so she's blown Riz a kiss twice. So let me just say, if you ever try to hit on Rizwan, well, she's not Rizwan, Ciara. She's taken by Rizwan because she's blown him a kiss. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. But yeah, the less we say about this legendary battle, the better. I mean, this
Yeah,
episode.
let's just
I'm gonna
skip
say
to
so.
the next
Like,
one.
I honestly thought it was okay. I mean, yeah, there are things that I didn't like about it, but you know,
Yeah, I mean, this episode has been picked apart by people to
Yeah,
death.
almost the entire fandom has
We
ranted
all
on this
we
episode.
we've all like done our little rant of it. When
Yeah,
we did a review of it.
on the DigiRanger channel.
Yeah, that was such a long
yeah,
time ago,
So
and
the
it's
less
like,
we say about this, yeah. So yeah, now it's time to finally wrap this. There were no team up episodes in Dino Charge, although there was this meme that this was the best thing ever that came out of Dino. It showed the Dino Charge Rangers running away from something, and the meme says, "Run away! The Megaforce Rangers want a team up episode." So
no.
that was pretty funny. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. I like Dino Charge, by the way, but
Yeah, I actually met both Brennan Mejia, the Red Downcharge Ranger, and I met Davi Santos, aka Ivan, Downcharge Gold.
Anthony, you did a
I
lot more
even
than me, Davey Santos. We shared a ride with him to the airport.
Oh right, how could I forget?
how do you forget that?
Actually, I didn't. I just wanted him to say it.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna
Wow.
wrap this up.
Which gold was based on Lucky Color, basically, at Power Morphicon, surprisingly.
Yeah. With a 25th anniversary, this is the last team review. Has probably turned out to be pretty long, but I've enjoyed it. Hope you guys have. You guys have, right?
Yeah.
yeah, it's great. As the first episode for me, this was fun.
Yeah, we're going to be wrapping this up with with another anniversary special. This one, well, we'll get to my opinion about that in a second. This one is called Dimensions in Danger. Now, in this episode, now I'm pretty sure this episode was initiated by a previous episode because I mean, like, I'm just going to say this right now, like. This is the only episode of Super Ninja Steel or whatever that is it called? Yeah, it's called Super Ninja Steel. This is the only episode of Super Ninja Steel that I have seen thus far because obviously I can't miss this episode. And I think it started off with like a few with like the Ninja Steel Rangers meeting like 3 Rangers that are in cloaks. Like I think it's Wes. Gemma and Coda, and they're
Coda.
like, does that happen? Like, help me out here, Anthony.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Okay.
does happen in the Outbox.
So they meet those, and then it leads into this episode where what's happened is that there's this new villain named Lord Draven, which sounds
not to be confused with Lord Draken.
Yeah, that's not no Saturday Grid.
Isn't it Dracon?
Well, Dracon.
It's Draven in the comic and the TV show.
So what happens is that this villain named Draven, he's attempting to create an army of Ranger clones, and he's captured several Rangers, which include Riz's girlfriend, Rocky, who's donning the red Mighty Morphin powers, TJ with his blue space powers, Trent, White Dino Ranger, but you guys already know that. Tommy's wife, Kat, because I think they're married.
Yeah,
who has her pink turbo powers, which I think is weird because I think she should probably be donning the pink Zeo powers instead, but whatever.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
And then Antonio with the gold samurai powers, and he's attempting to, create an army with those Rangers. And it starts off with him also capturing Tommy to create some clones of Tommy's Rangers, while he's also created a literal clone of Tommy himself. And the Ninja Steel Rangers are met by Wes, Gemma, and Coda, and the reason why it's significant um, is because this is an episode where we find out that there's actually 3 different universes in Power Rangers. So you have
At the very least.
you have the
Yeah.
main
At least they explain
universe.
that.
You have the main universe, then you have RPM's universe, which was established in Clash of the Red Rangers and then confirmed in Super Mega Force. And then this episode also confirms that Dino Charge takes place in an alternate continuity, which kind of makes sense because shouldn't dinosaurs be roaming all over the earth and Ninja Steel?
My God, if they had not done that stupid freaking time warp thing, they would have been the main team, the main line. But whatever, this makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, that.
So apparently, what's happening is that Raven arrow in a with a bow to like tear the dimensional rift and like force like all these incompatible universes to merge together, which is obviously life threatening. Tommy breaks free and uses this master morpher, which really just shows how they're trying to completely turn Tommy to be too overpowered. They free all the Rangers, and the Rangers, the Ninja Steel Rangers, and all the veteran Rangers. They fight off the villains. Tommy's able to use his Falcon Zord to stop Lord Raven, and then everybody goes their separate ways. Though, of course, the Red Ninja Steel Ranger, what's his name, Brody? Like he does have his name is Brody, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry. For those of you back
Brody,
home,
the worst Red Ranger.
Much. Everybody here has probably watched Ninja Steel, seen more episodes of Ninja Steel than I have. So
yeah,
he's on.
Painfully.
He's not as okay. Troy is bad, but Brody had the potential to be good, but he's also has a wooden way of acting for some reason.
Yeah, it's like I can't stand him. Like they did nothing with him.
But yeah, I mean, he says now that was epic, and
yeah, the famous line which gets used.
I was like, "Shut up, bro!" I'm like, "Shut up, Brody! Just shut up."
In all honesty, I really liked this episode. Like to me,
yeah, I like the episode. Dimensions in Nature is actually an okay episode. I did like it, and the motherfucking Falcon Zord.
Yeah,
that was pretty epic.
Like now we've already really covered this. Actually, special episode on the YouTube channel to talk about this. But to kind of, backtrack on it, I like this. I would say that it's my second favorite anniversary special. Like, I would rank the anniversary specials Forever Red, and that's unchallengeable until something better than that comes along.
Right.
Then Dimensions in Danger, then The Legend War, and then Once a Ranger.
Yeah,
I agree with that up until like the last two. I switch out.
Yeah, I'd say like Once a Ranger's better than Legendary Battle, but that's me. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's me too.
Yeah, and I can agree. I mean, I can see where people are coming from because to me, it's really difficult to choose between, to choose between the Legend War and Once a Ranger for which is worse. Now, there are a couple of complaints I have about this. Like the fact that the morph sequence, there's no roll call, and we don't see any morph sequence.
All instant morphs, and that really irritated me.
Yeah,
instant morphs.
If we did instant morphs, that would have made clearer sense of how which power sets that Rockies was using. Was he using the Tyrannosaurus powers, or was he using ninja powers? We don't know.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there are some expanded stuff that we can talk about. Like, Tommy somehow knows Antonio, despite having never met him.
Riz can answer that.
What?
The reason why Antonio knows Tommy.
I had a reason. I wouldn't remember that.
It was the thing that I can't remember how to say his name to save my life.
Mitt Bomick,
yeah.
Oh yeah, what did I meant to say?
It was about the hexagon. Yeah, hexagon.
Yeah, hexagon.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah, and I think that this episode could actually the hexagon plan canon because there's at one point where they mention Lord Draven, and then TJ's like, "Oh no, I hoped I would never have to hear that name again." Like maybe all these Rangers were fighting together against Draven. So
Yeah, they were.
The way TJ was at, he was like, "Oh, Draven, I thought he never heard that name."
Yeah,
but you know that I like seeing Kat back because Kat was one of my big Power Ranger crushes, so I loved seeing her back, and she's aged pretty good. I'm gonna
I
say
have a complaint.
Very good.
Oh yeah, I met her in person recently. She's great.
Yeah, he did an interview with her too, and he stole some of my interview introduction tactics, but whatever.
Get over it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I like Dimensions in Danger.
Trent doesn't get to say much.
He has maybe like a line, but that's about it. He don't say much else.
I do like how it shows Wes and Tommy as if they've been like old friends because you could say like, well, they never appeared in a season together. It's like, yeah, but they came together for Forever Red, and they were together in the Legend War. So
exactly,
yeah.
So there's history between these two characters. They know each other,
and that also shows that. Hold on, like you can officially say that. Tommy, TJ, and Wes have appeared in every anniversary special.
Almost everyone.
Well, okay, not counting Once a Ranger. So because they were all in Forever Red, were all in the Legend War, and they were all in here. So yeah, that's hopefully they'll have that. Hopefully that'll be a regular thing because those are 3 great Rangers.
Yep, that's correct.
But yeah, like I said, this episode is pretty good. I mean,
yeah, it's all right.
And it kind of feels like I don't know. It's again a small diamond in a pile of otherwise rubbish that is Ninja Steel, or at least I can say that partially because I haven't watched much of Ninja Steel yet, and I don't really intend to watch much of it anytime soon.
It's not good
because though I'll still have a soft spot for the guy who played what's the Gold Ranger's name? Levi.
Because I told the actor's name.
Jordy.
Jordy Weber.
Because Anthony and I not only met him at Power, we had dinner with him. So,
yes. Yeah. So we were just literally just sitting in like one of these steakhouse restaurants or whatever. And
y'all have the coolest adventures.
I pointed out to him because Nathan didn't have his glasses with him because apparently he's blind. Apparently. And I'm like, dude, I can see him. Like he's literally right there. And he goes, and I go, that's the dude that plays Levi from Power Rangers. He turns and he looks, he waves at us, and we're just, like he said, "Can I join you guys?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then we had dinner with Power Ranger. We, got his photograph and everything. Like, we didn't get an autograph, but we got a photograph.
Yeah, and then he went to Davey Santos and started talking about how hey, I just had 2 fans and they were really cool. So
yeah,
and it was us, and it was
cool. Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And that's the reason why
I'm never gonna forget.
Exactly, that's the reason why we kept saying gold was our lucky color because we met 2 Gold Rangers actors at very crazy conveniences,
Yep.
Coincidences.
But yeah, so So before we just wrap up talking with Team Up Talk, the only thing I just say now is this is a message to Hasbro and the other Hasbro listening to this. Please bring back the Team Up episodes. I am absolutely begging you. And you know what? If you want to take footage from the Dinosaur Team Up episode and have the Beast Morphin Rangers team up with the Dino Charge Rangers and Mighty Morphin and Dino Thunder, fine. Just bring the Team Up episodes back, please.
We're okay with that. Yeah, we're okay with that.
Yeah, that'd be really nice if they did that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care if you don't film. And you just, now granted, it does they'll be filming a lot of original footage, but
they'll be filming some original footage.
Please just bring the Team Up episodes back because we just went through all the Team Up episodes, and sure, not all of them are great, but even when the team up episodes are great, it's always nice to see two Ranger teams interact with each other.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's all I ask.
It just builds on the continuity, and it's like, okay, these Rangers interact with each other. That means something because they're following a legacy.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that about wraps this really long review up. We thank everybody who's given us to do this. So a couple of things before we go. Obviously, social media outlets such as Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Check out the interviews that I've done at Power Morphicon. Riz still has 2 more to upload with me interviewing Katie and Sky. Check out
soon to a YouTube near you.
Yeah, and check out Anthony's one with Xander because he did pretty good for his first interview.
It won't be my last.
Nope, it won't.
No, not at all.
Couple more. There's a chance I might be going to Ranger Stop because this year. It's actually in my home state, Atlanta, so I might actually go this time. Anthony, Riz, and I are going to be here reuniting for the first time since 2017.
Oh, and he gets to meet one of our Otaku Digi Rangers for the first time too.
And this time I'm not going to be dragging some obnoxious people along with me.
Oh yeah, you better come to this.
Frankie's our boneheaded leader from Otaku Sensei Ranger until Riz took over as leader.
Later.
So if you guys are fans of us, be sure to watch. It's going to be a fun time. So yeah, with that said, we are Anime Secrets. Hopefully, we'll be able to get on this once a month schedule. So stay tuned for any anime, secret, Toku secret stuff that comes out once a month. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully, to take a look at the first couple of episodes of Ryu Soldier. So see you later, guys.